This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, September 16th. I am Tori, looking kind of 60s.
I like it.
Hey, peace, guys.
Very Austin Powers-y.
Yeah. All right, I am also here with Lindsay. Lindsay joins us from home, embarrassed to be my friend. How you feeling, Lynn?
I love the look, Tori.
Thank you.
We got a good color scheme, all three of us going on.
It is nice and bright.
Lindsay, how's everything at the Y? Is the
Is it feeling
kickball
good at the
tournament?
Y?
You know, they got the AC blasting, so I like it.
We keep joking on Lindsay's backgrounds because she jumps more than Where's Waldo, so it's always good to find out where she is. We want to get to some stories that everybody was talking about this last night, and I didn't even know what was happening, but there was this town hall last night. Did you all watch President Trump's town hall last night?
I did.
Okay, there was a lot of back and forth between ABC's George Stephanopoulos and the president about whether he downplayed the coronavirus, which, of course, the president was recorded saying back in February. Let's watch.
I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. It would go away without the vaccine, George, but it's going to go away a lot faster with it.
It would go away without the vaccine?
Sure, over a period of time. Sure, with time it goes
And many
away.
deaths.
And you'll develop herd, like a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen. That will all happen. But with the vaccine, I think it will go away very quickly.
So we want to be clear, he obviously meant herd immunity. That is the term, not herd mentality. There was another moment from the town hall that has a lot of you talking. A black pastor from Philadelphia confronted the president about his slogan, Make America Great Again, MAGA. We all know it. Take a look at this.
You've coined the phrase, Make America Great Again.
Right.
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America? Are you aware of how tone deaf that comes off to African American community?
Well, I hope there's not a race problem. I can tell you there's none with me. You could just go back 6 or 7 months from now. That was the best single moment in the history of the African American people in this country.
Okay, so I have a lot to unpack here. I do want to ask, is the slogan Make America Great Again tone deaf when it comes to black Americans? Lindsay, what's your take on that?
I think, like the pastor said, a lot of people are wondering at what point we're referring to, because you can't use 6 or 7 months prior to coronavirus because he ran on that 4 years ago. So we wanted to know what point he was referring to. But I think it was a good question. I'm happy that he opened himself up to being asked these questions, because I know for a long time a lot of people of color were wondering that. And then also about his response to COVID. To me, I just also think that as long as it's been, the biggest thing that I wanted to see was a federal response. So to say that we upplayed it or downplayed it, both of those are kind of irrelevant. It's just about how, as much as I appreciate governments running themselves by state to state, in this case, we needed a federal response, and we all needed to take it a bit more seriously, like doctors were telling us to.
Yeah, I agree with that. If it were me and I was on his publicity team of President Trump, I would never have allowed him to go on to this. George Stephanopoulos worked for Clinton, and I think he did a good job at standing up to people. Someone like John says, he took those questions like a man. Many of the questioners were not Trump supporters, and they were rude to the president. Al, what do you think of the town hall, and also what do you think of Make America Great Again?
Well, I think Make America Great Again doesn't speak to me. But
or me as a Jew or a woman, let me be clear.
But it's not supposed to. And for the person who just sent that comment, we appreciate it, saying that the people weren't Trump supporters and the questions weren't valid. I think it was a great thing for the president. I'll tell you why. It gave him a chance to talk to his base. Every campaign stop is a chance to talk to his base. Every question from a reporter, he pivots and talks to his base. So, Lindsay, when we talk about Make America Great Again, he doesn't care how or you or I take it. He makes sure that he reinforces to his base that everything's fine and everything was great for black people, which reinforces to his base, because his base doesn't want to think that they're racist or think that he's racist, and he is doing a good job of communicating that he is not and they are not. So I think this was a home run for the president in terms of, again, being able to ask questions that he anticipated. He had answers that he was ready for, and he pivoted and talked to his base.
I think the slogan's great for his base. I think the town hall was a mess, and he looked over his head completely. And I think he got fact-checked to his face. And I would love to know what you guys think, because it was really interesting that he did it, though. Well, let's talk about the other presidential nominee, the rival, while the president was in Philly for the town hall. We had Joe Biden. He was in Florida at a Hispanic Heritage Month event. Oh, Joe, he's getting a lot of criticism for what he did once he got to the podium. Let's all take a look together and then we'll chat.
There you go. Dance a little bit, Joe. Come on. I'll tell you, my man.
I tell you what, if I had the talent of any one of these people, I'd be elected president by acclamation.
One person on Twitter wrote, I can't tell which pandering was more cringeworthy. Hillary saying she had hot sauce in her purse or Joe Biden playing 10 seconds of Despacito. Another person tweeted, thank goodness he decided against the sombrero. Eye roll emoji. This is super important to everyone. I didn't know this. An important piece of context here, though. Biden was introduced by Luis Fonsi, who wrote Despacito. I think that's important to know. So was this pandering or is this just Uncle Joe trying to be cool? Al, was this cool?
It wasn't cool, but it wasn't pandering. Both can be true.
Okay,
if
fair.
he was
Talk
introduced, Linz, by Elton John and he played Rocket Man, everybody would be like, okay.
But we all know who Elton John is. Nobody knows it. I mean, a lot of us
Let me
didn't know
tell you who knows who Despacito is. 7 billion views on YouTube. Listen up, and I'm including myself, old people. You don't know this, so it seems like it's completely out of context. But for these 7 billion people that love maybe one of the most popular songs of all time,
it's a good song.
It made sense. So I think the people that would watch an event like this wouldn't know Despacito, and the people that know Despacito would not watch an event like this. And that's why we got tweets like we did.
I mean, I gotta ask Lindsay, though, to be honest, you gotta. If I were his publicity person, I would have not suggested him doing that, right? On both sides. Do you think it was a gaffe? And he's used to gaffes.
He is, but I think it was a little bit ridiculous. Honestly, I think that we can all see now authenticity, just like when Hillary Clinton, like you said, went up to the Breakfast Club, which is a station that's an urban radio station, a lot of heavy black viewership, and said the hot sauce comment. Like, if that's how you really feel and you eat hot sauce that often, then say it when you're in front of a lot of people. Like, so Joe Biden went to Florida where there's a large Latino population and played Despacito. So I wanted to make sure I wasn't crazy. I called one of my best friends that's a Latina, and she's like, you know, I'm not offended, but I don't understand what the point of it was. There's so many ways to connect with our community in real ways, and this just seemed like a bit of a joke to her. So it's not offensive, but it's not helpful.
Well, yeah, it didn't move up the meter. By the way, how funny was the poor sign language woman having to do Despacito? She's like, oh my God. All right.
I was thinking about that also.
What I mean? She's like, why am I doing this? All right, we've got to take a moment to reach out to all of our viewers on the Gulf Coast. All right, this is switching gears here. There are warnings of heavy rains, more than 30 inches in some areas, as well as historic, even life-threatening flooding as a result of Hurricane Sally. We here at DBL, we just hope everyone is staying safe. You listen to local officials. We seriously are thinking of you and sending our prayers. It is not an easy year, and anyone who needs something on top of something else, it's not getting it easy. Am I right, Al?
When I say it rains, it pours, I mean no pun intended when I say that. You know, the thing is, when we say heavy rains, I think everybody's like, well, heavy rains, okay. I don't think people understand the damage that water does. Water gets into foundations and makes everything unusable and must be completely rebuilt. So I think sometimes you're like, oh, they got rain, but it's not a hurricane, it's not a tornado. You can rebuild from a tornado, but when you start talking about water damage, it's a bigger deal than people really put on.
It is. Lindsay, do you have family there or friends there in that area?
Yeah, and I think that it's scary because I'm watching the local news reports. I keep up with it, and you just see the water coming up higher and higher. And if it doesn't affect certain parts of the country, similar to the wildfires, maybe you tune it out. But it's important to see that this year has been tough for so many people from COVID on. And so this is just another example of people who are going to have extreme circumstances to deal with through 2021.
Totally. Our hearts are with you. We are thinking of you. If you are in that area and can get to a computer and let us know how you feel, we'd love to get your take as well. Now, before we go to break, we've got to talk about something that happened in New Jersey on Monday. People thought for sure they were seeing a UFO flying over the area. That looks like a UFO, I'm not gonna lie, right? Some even got out of their cars to film this. It was all over my feed. Take a look.
Yo, I don't know, but everybody stopped to see the aliens. It says, that's what everybody said, bro.
Whoa, I am so sorry, y'all, but it's not. For all you believers out there, it turns out that this was not a UFO, it was just the Goodyear blimp.
And it read Ice Cube's a pimp.
don't know what that means. It was there for Monday.
It's from Today Was a Good Day.
I know.
How do you not know that?
I know.
Okay, sorry.
It's from Monday's NFL game. Lindsay, don't go away, and I will definitely be quoting more rap. Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, tackles more coronavirus questions and clears up your confusion. That's what we're here for, y'all. Stick around.
Daily Blast Live wants to add sparkle to your life. We're giving away the official Daytime Emmy gift bag filled with luxury products worth more than $5,000. Here's how you can win. Send us a video telling us about your quarantine, how your life has changed, new hobbies, or plans you had to cancel, and what you look forward to the most once the pandemic is over. The winner will be announced Friday, September 25th, and become the owner of the official Daytime Emmy gift bag.
Out there. That's why we always bring in our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli. She joins us live to answer your COVID-19 questions and gives us just the facts. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. All right, before we get to your viewer questions, we would love for you to explain the recent news about scientists discovering an antibody that neutralizes the virus that causes COVID-19. So for anyone that's not a Harvard grad and MIT like you, I bow down. What does neutralize mean? Is that like a cure?
So neutralize, Tori, means that it actually prevents the virus from getting into the host cells. So have you guys watched that movie, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's so cute.
Yes. So if the regular antibodies are like the regular heroes, the neutralizing antibodies are like Mr. Incredible. They can neutralize the threat immediately, prevent the virus from getting into the host cells. And it's actually really cool because it's something that we could give patients who've been exposed to the virus to make their illness less severe. So I wouldn't think of it as a cure, so much so as a treatment that's really going to help us recover from the virus more quickly, even if we are exposed.
She's a doctor of pop culture, too.
I love it. All right, let's get to some viewer questions. Jeanette says, my child has severe food allergies. Tell me about it. So should I be concerned about what food proteins might be in a COVID-19 vaccine? That's a great question.
Yeah, it is. And the food allergies are so common. So luckily, the way that the COVID-19 vaccine is being engineered, so far it's not being grown in any egg cells like the flu vaccine, for example. And so food allergies are less of a concern. But depending on which vaccine ends up winning out and how it gets manufactured, this is something we may have to think about once we're at that point. So certainly, Jeanette, keep an eye on how it's being created and when it hits the market.
Wow, which one is going to win out? Natalie,
I like that name, Jeanette.
Jeanette. My friend was Jenny as a Jeanette, and I thought, neat. Doc, Natalie asks, should you wear a mask when going through a drive-through or curbside pickup, or is it okay because you're in your car? I always wear a mask.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, ever since this pandemic started, you guys, all I've been doing is picturing droplets coming at me in slow motion, like in the movies, wherever I go and whoever I see. So when I'm going, yeah, exactly. You got to dodge it, just right. But so whenever I'm going to the drive-thru, I'm sitting in my car and someone is sitting in a position above me and I'm sitting in a dependent position and their droplets are falling right on my face. So personally, I definitely put on the mask when I open the window. I even put on my sunglasses so that if anything falls, I can dodge it like the Matrix.
Oh, that gives me an excuse to wear sunglasses inside.
You love wearing them, and you look good in them out. You wear them well.
All right, last question. Doc James says, I read that Dr. Fauci recommends vitamin C and D for a healthy immune system. Is it better to get those vitamins through food, supplements, or both? I thought vitamin D came from sunshine.
It does come from sunshine, but it also comes from dietary sources, Al, like milk and yogurt and cheese. So I always say, essentially, food is the best medicine. If you can get your vitamins and supplements from food, that's really the best thing to do. But often our diet's not well balanced. If you're like me and you're running around all day, not drinking enough milk, then you can have deficiencies. So I usually tend to encourage supplements for those people who might be at certain higher risk. And personally, I've been taking a vitamin C and vitamin D ever since this pandemic started.
All right. That's what I'm going to be doing then.
Good to know. Yeah, I do whatever she
I go
does.
as she goes.
Thank you, Doc. We'll be back. You'll be back tomorrow. If you do have a question about coronavirus you want answered by Dr. Coley, just write us. It's very simple. Don't be scared on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. We don't even have to say your name. We just want to give you an option to get to a medical expert easily. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. You guys got a few $1 million to spare, huh?
Yes.
Huh? No, you don't. We found some crazy unique items up for auction, so let's take a look. First up, you can bid on Stan the T-Rex. He's 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, and is one of the world's most complete set of T-Rex bones. He's currently on display at Christie's in New York and is expected to fetch between $6 to $8 million.
By who? Somebody that wants to scare children?
Where would you put this, Lindsay?
I don't get that.
Where would you put this in your house?
Want that. Whenever I went to the Museum of Natural History, I always was freaked out when you walk right in and see that huge dinosaur. So this would be my worst nightmare.
Okay.
And also Jurassic Park gave me nightmares.
I wasn't allowed to see that in the movie theaters. All right, next up we have Kobe Bryant's autograph section of the Staples Center floor. Kobe signed his number 8 after his final game in 2016. It could go for as much as $500,000. Al, would you be into that?
I definitely would. I'm a big hoops fan, and I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant as a person and as a basketball player, the perseverance he played the game and lived his life with. And I think this will go for a lot because there's a lot of celebrities that are huge Lakers fans. Obviously, it's out in L.A., and so I think the price will go a lot higher than that. What do you think, Lance?
I agree.
I mean, that's insane. Just think about the person who started with that floor, how much it costs versus with Kobe signing it, and now that he passed, it's like, that thing is going to be super expensive. I can't imagine that it's going to. I can't imagine that it's going to keep going up, like Al said.
Yeah, it's going to be a bidding war, I think, also because you could frame that and have that as a really cool piece of like enormous art in your house, and just really have a beautiful conversation piece. I feel like $500,000. It's going to be like Snoop Dogg's going to put in a bid.
What about Jack Nicholson?
Yeah,
like,
I can see
this
that.
is going to be huge.
Right? This is going to go great. All right, this one's really good. Finally, a plastic crown. And not expensive, right? Well, it was worn by the Notorious B.I.G., and it just sold for nearly $600,000. The late rapper famously wore the $6 crown during a photo shoot. I thought it would go for more.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Biggie.
I would.
Yeah. I mean, it's affordable, and if you want a piece of hip-hop history, you can make the argument that hip-hop is the most popular music worldwide, and Biggie is one of the, he would be on the Mount Rushmore of hip-hop, so to have a piece of that, you know, nostalgia is a big deal for a lot of people. I think some people will pony up.
I feel like
But I couldn't get over the idea of the plastic crown being millions of dollars. It's still a plastic crown from Party City.
Let's be real.
Just saying.
It's almost a Burger King crown.
I thought it was when we first tried.
Yeah, it was too. Burger King, yeah. But I think that's wearable, and like you would be so cool. Maybe Jay-Z or someone else will take it. All right, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by.
If you've ever considered
Welcome back to DBL. A 2-year smartphone sleep study proves that a lack of sleep is linked to weight gain. We're chatting about it in today's Rise and Thrive, sponsored by SoClean. For years, researchers have studied how sleep influences your BMI by relying on the participants' memory. But a new study by JAMA Internal Medicine used fitness trackers in smartphones, and over a 2-year period, they tracked the sleep of 120,000 people.
I wonder if that's enough for Jeff.
I was just thinking, even Jeff thinks that's enough people for a study. The study found those with BMIs of 30 or above, which is considered obese, slept less than average at night. When you're sleep deprived, certain hormones spike, which results in increased appetite. Interesting. That's why I want Burger King all the time. When it comes to sleep, for more ways to rest easy, go to SoClean.com or call 1-800-528-6029. If I know anyone who loves sleep, it is Miss Granger. Am I right?
Lindsay, be honest with our viewers, please, and tell them that you are in a robe at 2 p.m. on some days. Be honest.
Let me tell you, I was born an auntie. Okay, look at the shoes that I have on right now. Okay, I'm an auntie.
That's for shoe and varmints.
Yeah, get out of here. I remember once when I first met Lindsay, and I was like, hey, do you want to go work out together? She's like, yeah. I was like Saturday, like 3:30, and she's like, oh, I get up at like 3 on Saturday.
No, Tori, the real
like
story is you said around 10 a.m. and I said I get up around noon or 2 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that. We're new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys. President Trump on his Make America Great Again slogan. Is it tone deaf?
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America?
We have tremendous African American support.
Plus, Joe Biden gets criticized for his choice of song to rally Latino support. Young, black, and sentenced to death.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young.
It is the shocking story of a 14-year-old boy executed more than 70 years ago in today's True Crime Chronicles. From hospital security guard to earning a PhD in molecular oncology, one man shares his inspirational journey to live out his dream of being a doctor.
I think all it took was a little curiosity for one of them to finally tell me yes.
And gone. In the market for a dinosaur skeleton? Wait until you hear the incredible items hitting the auction block.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Thank
Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, September 16th. I'm Sam here with Al.
Hello, I love the dress. It's literally fire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And we are coordinating almost like if we were to be going to prom together.
Yes,
I like
there
that.
we go. Homecoming.
Color coordinated. Erica, how are you joining us from home?
I am wonderful. You guys look great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, thank you. You look awesome as usual.
Erica cannot look bad for the life of her, so just saying. Okay, so
girl, takes one to know one.
Thank you, Edie. I appreciate that. Did you all watch President Trump's town hall last night? Well, there was a lot of backlash, or back and forth.
And backlash.
Yes, between ABC's George Stephanopoulos and the president about whether he downplayed the coronavirus, which, of course, the president was recorded saying back in February. Watch.
Well, I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. It would go away without the vaccine, George, but it's going to go away a lot faster with it.
It would go away without the vaccine?
Sure, over a period of time. Sure, with time it goes away.
And many deaths.
And you'll develop herd, like a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen. That will all happen. But with the vaccine, I think it will go away very quickly.
Okay, so there was another moment from the town hall that a lot of you are talking about. A black pastor from Philadelphia confronted the president about his slogan, "Make America Great Again." Take a listen.
You've coined the phrase, "Make America Great Again."
Right.
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America? Are you aware of how tone deaf that comes off to African American community?
Well, I hope there's not a race problem. I can tell you there's none with me. You could just go back 6 or 7 months from now. That was the best single moment in the history of the African American people in this country.
So let's chat about it. Is the slogan, "Make America Great Again," tone deaf when it comes to Americans of color? Al, what do you think?
I think it is, but I think it's not for me. And I think this town hall was great for Trump. And I'll tell you why, Sam, because since the beginning, he understood that he's not going to win over a lot of people that are on the fence. He's for dang sure not going to win over the people that are anti-Trump. So every campaign stop, every press conference is a chance to talk to his base. And what he is saying is, hey, guys, I'm not racist and you're not either. I played this coronavirus well, and you guys all know it. And anybody else that's not on board now, they're not coming anyway. So he did this the way he's always done this. He was prepared for those questions. He pivoted to just like, hey, before the coronavirus, everything was great. He had all these things queued up and ready to go. So I think it was a home run in terms of him for his base, Erica. I don't think anybody else really matters at this point.
Facts, Al, facts. And I think that's where we are at this point. People are speaking to those who are either in the same mindset or people who are on the fence based on maybe single issues. When we're talking about just anytime we have that slogan, "Make America Great," we've been saying this from the beginning. It's very one-sided and it's directed towards a certain group of people. There's just no other way to have that conversation, and I'm glad that question was asked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know I'm white and I benefit from my privilege, but I can't imagine if I was sitting in either Erica or Al's shoes. I mean, I'm offended for you. To think that, you know, "Make America Great Again," considering our history, and a lot of it is very recent history, when was it ever great for people of color? When was it ever great for the LGBTQ community? But listen, that is just my opinion. We are getting a lot of your comments in right now, and I always want to read them. I always want to bring in the other side. Let me bring in Susie on Twitter. She says, "Don't you realize this is a setup? George Stephanopoulos was a Bill Clinton advisor. He has handled the pandemic good." And then John just chimed in saying he took those questions like a man. Many of the questions were not Trump supporters and rude to the president. So thank you.
Like I said, talking to his base.
Yeah,
he figured it out early. Great strategy.
That's a positive. Okay, so President Trump wasn't the only one receiving criticism. While the president was in Philly for the town hall, Joe Biden was in Florida at a Hispanic Heritage Month event. Well, he's getting a lot of flack for what he did at the podium. Take a look.
There you go. Dance a little bit, Joe. Come on. I
tell you what, if I had the talent of any one of these people, I'd be elected president by acclamation.
So one person on Twitter wrote, I can't tell which pandering was more cringy. Hillary saying she had hot sauce in her purse, or Joe playing 10 seconds of Despacito. Another person tweeted, thank goodness he decided against the sombrero eye roll emoji. So really quickly though, an important piece of context. Biden was introduced by Louis Fonsi, who wrote Despacito. So put that aside. Do you think this was pandering, or was this him trying to be cool, or was he trying to give homage to the person that just introduced him?
I definitely think that he was trying to give homage, and honestly, I didn't know that that was the person. I think a lot of people that watched this press conference had no idea that he was the person that wrote Despacito, because the people that love Despacito don't necessarily watch presidential candidates speak. If you look, there's 7 billion people that watched that video. I didn't, so I didn't get that context. But if Elton John had brought him up, I think if he had played Rocket Man, everybody would have understood.
Erica, did you feel like it was cringeworthy?
I'm just going to model for something for people who still don't get this. I am not Latina. I am not going to put my 2 cents in as to what was appropriate in pandering for something for that culture, because I don't appreciate it at all when it's done to me.
Got it. All right.
Well, I don't mind.
Okay, so we got to take a moment to reach out to all of our viewers along the Gulf Coast. We are thinking of you guys because there are warnings of heavy rains, more than 30 inches in some areas, as well as historic, even life-threatening flooding as a result of Hurricane Sally. So we just want to wish you guys well. We hope that everyone is going to stay safe. We hope that you guys listen to the local officials. And of course, again, we are going to be sending our thoughts and our prayers. And please check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. You're shaking your head out.
How much can people take, Sam? I think when you read heavy rains, and Eric, I don't know, when I read that, sometimes you think, oh, well, rains, we can handle that. I mean, water damage is much worse than like a tornado, because it seeps into the foundation of things, and things are no longer useful. So long after that water recedes, nothing works in that town. The foundations are all cracked, and everything needs to be redone. So between the rain, the fire, the corona, I mean, how much more unemployment? It's just a lot for this country. E.
Yeah, I mean, what can we say at this point? I mean, it's us against Mother Nature. I just feel terrible for people. It's like one thing happens, and before you can even get on your feet, there's something else. So obviously, we're thinking about them at this time.
Yeah, and just remember, you know, after the floods in California, quickly after that came after the rain and everything, the mudslides.
Oh.
So let's just see. There's not a lot that you can do to prepare, but at the same time, knowing that the mudslides will most likely follow, there are some preventive measures that you can take. And if you're affected, please write in. We want to hear from you. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli. She's going to tackle more coronavirus questions, and she's going to clear up your confusion. Then from security guard, you guys, to doctor, you have to meet a Louisiana man who got his PhD in molecular oncology and is now earning not 1, but 2 more degrees. And as DBL enters its 4th year, most of our coworkers, check it out, they're not here, they're working from home because of the pandemic. We miss all of you guys, and we will be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. Even though we're months into the pandemic, there's still so much uncertainty and so much misinformation out there. That's why we hooked you up. We got our own Dr. Paul Coley, who's going to join us to answer all your COVID-19 questions with just the facts, we promise. Earlier, Tori and I got a chance to speak to the doctor. Check it out.
We would love for you to explain the recent news about scientists discovering an antibody that neutralizes the virus that causes COVID-19. So for anyone that's not a Harvard grad and MIT like you, I bow down. What does neutralize mean? Is that like a cure?
So neutralize, Tori, means that it actually prevents the virus from getting into the host cells. So have you guys watched that movie, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's so cute.
Yes. So if the regular antibodies are like the regular heroes, the neutralizing antibodies are like Mr. Incredible. They can neutralize the threat immediately, prevent the virus from getting into the host cells. And it's actually really cool because it's something that we could give patients who've been exposed to the virus to make their illness less severe. So I wouldn't think of it as a cure, so much so as a treatment that's really going to help us recover from the virus more quickly, even if we are exposed.
She's a doctor of pop culture, too.
I love it. All right, let's get to some viewer questions. Jeanette says, my child has severe food allergies. Tell me about it. So should I be concerned about what food proteins might be in a COVID-19 vaccine? That's a great question.
Yeah, it is. And the food allergies are so common. So luckily, the way that the COVID-19 vaccine is being engineered, so far it's not being grown in any egg cells like the flu vaccine, for example. And so food allergies are less of a concern. But depending on which vaccine ends up winning out and how it gets manufactured, this is something we may have to think about once we're at that point. So certainly, Jeanette, keep an eye on how it's being created and when it hits the market.
Wow, which one is going to win out?
Natalie, I like that name, Jeanette.
Jeanette. My friend was Jenny as a Jeanette, and I thought, neat. Doc, Natalie asks, should you wear a mask when going through a drive-through or curbside pickup, or is it okay because you're in your car? I always wear a mask.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, ever since this pandemic started, you guys, all I've been doing is picturing droplets coming at me in slow motion, like in the movies, wherever I go and whoever I see. So when I'm going, yeah, exactly. You got to dodge it, just right. But so whenever I'm going to the drive-thru, I'm sitting in my car and someone is sitting in a position above me and I'm sitting in a dependent position and their droplets are falling right on my face. So personally, I definitely put on the mask when I open the window. I even put on my sunglasses so that if anything falls, I can dodge it like the Matrix.
Oh, that gives me an excuse to wear sunglasses inside.
You love wearing them, and you look good in them out. You wear them well.
All right, last question. Doc James says, I read that Dr. Fauci recommends vitamin C and D for a healthy immune system. Is it better to get those vitamins through food, supplements, or both? I thought vitamin D came from sunshine.
It does come from sunshine, but it also comes from dietary sources, Al, like milk and yogurt and cheese. So I always say, essentially, food is the best medicine. If you can get your vitamins and supplements from food, that's really the best thing to do. But often our diet's not well balanced. If you're like me and you're running around all day, not drinking enough milk, then you can have deficiencies. So I usually tend to encourage supplements for those people who might be at certain higher risk. And personally, I've been taking a vitamin C and vitamin D ever since this pandemic started.
All right. That's what I'm going to be doing then.
Good to know. Yeah, I do whatever
I go as she goes.
Thank you, Doc. We'll be back. You'll be back tomorrow. If you do have a question about coronavirus you want answered by Dr. Coley, just write us. It's very simple. Don't be scared on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. We don't even have to say your name. We just want to give you an option to get to a medical expert easily. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you this story was very special to me. It's the story of Russell Leday. He's proof that age and experience should not and cannot define your dreams. He was a hard-working security guard at a Louisiana hospital who kept asking for help when everyone said no. Now he's trading in a security uniform for a lab coat at that same hospital. I was lucky enough to catch up with him earlier for today's DBL Spotlight. Dr. Russell Leday, welcome to DBL. You have such an interesting story. Let's get right into it. You were a security guard at Baton Rouge General Med for 5 years, and over the time you started asking if you could shadow doctors. How many of them turned you down, and what did it take for one of them to say yes?
A number of them, said no. At least 20 to 30 of them said no over the course of about a year and a half. And I think all it took was a little curiosity for one of them to finally tell me yes. I was walking this guy who was a surgeon at the time, and I asked him, I was like, man, what do you do? He was like, I'm a surgeon. And I was like, so you think I can shadow you? He looked at me and he was like, man, you know what? Yeah, why not? And that's all it took was one yes.
Well, let's get back to the reason you asked that question. What inspired you to get into the medical field, making such a drastic career change and asking for that first shadowing opportunity?
I asked that question because I was enamored by the white coat walking around the hospital. And I was just curious. I was curious as to, how do you take care of a sick patient? How do you make sure that they make it home when they come into the hospital incredibly ill? And I never really thought it would come to fruition. But I figured it wouldn't hurt for me to dream big.
Well, it hadn't hurt. Look at you now, bro. That white coat is shining. You have a PhD in molecular oncology, and now you're back at that same hospital, but as a medical student. So you have to tell me, and do not be humble now, please. What was that full circle moment like for you? Did you pull up playing Look at Me Now in the parking lot?
Nah, man. I actually pulled up listening to this song by a guy named Gregory Porter called Take Me to That Alley.
Take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted ones.
And so that kind of reminded me of where I started and how I can't take this moment to have a lot of pride on my chest. I always say that the opportunity to take care of people is a privilege. I went there very thankful and grateful and just humbled by an opportunity to go back where I once dreamed of becoming a physician, to take care of people, and especially the people of Louisiana, because that's where I'm from.
That's inspiring. Now, putting work aside for a second, but this also pertains to your community, you're making changes in your community. You helped organize the photo of 15 black doctors, which I saw and really just floored me, wearing white coats in front of a former slave plantation. These photos went viral. Like I said, I saw them, and millions of other people did too. Can you tell us a little bit more about this photo?
Yeah, man, so that photo was really an opportunity for us to remind ourselves of how far we've come in spite of systems that were put in place to make sure that we never got here. It costs upwards of $5,000 to $10,000 sometimes to apply to medical school. I'm not talking about paid for medical school, I'm talking about just apply. And so we utilize that photo as an opportunity for us to raise some money and help some people apply to medical school, get into medical school, and then get through medical school.
That's awesome, man. You are living proof that anybody can do what they set their mind to, despite all your achievements and success. How do you feel like society perceives you?
I think on a good day, society perceives me as a gentleman. I do think every once in a while there are some bad days in which society perceives me as a threat. But I think we do need to work together so that systems that were put in place so that people like me wouldn't thrive are put to shame and also put away so that people can thrive. And every story is not I came up from the hood story, but a story of triumph and success.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps, brother. Dr. Russell Leday, it's been a pleasure having you on DBL, an honor, actually. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Comments from DBL Nation, okay? You guys are split down the middle. John says Trump thinks Joe Biden is president. He blamed Biden for not implementing a national mask mandate. But then Patrick says facts are he's a great president and he will continue to be a great president for the next 4 years. And finally, Roseanne says, hey, Sam, just wanted to let you know I started watching Anne with an E.
And Eric, I want to let you know, I promised Sam in between the commercial break that I was going to watch at least 2 episodes.
Next week?
Yes, for next week.
I wonder
promise.
if Erica's seen it. Erica, I haven't heard from you. Have you seen Anne with an E?
No.
Will you watch Anne with an E?
No.
Will you watch Anne with an E?
Will I?
Yeah.
I mean, I could put it on the list.
Put it on the list, girl.
How is Erica not in Congress or something? She's so good with her answers. She didn't say no, but that definitely was not a yes.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list means yeah, no. If you were sticking around, here's what's coming up. A UFO sends people into a panic. Was it aliens or something else? And Kim K will tell you what her next mission is. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Al, Erica joining us from home. Okay, so did you notice that some celebrities are taking a break from social media today? Well, if you did, this is actually their way of protesting hate speech on Facebook and Instagram. So here's what happened. We got stars like Katy Perry, Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio. They are asking people to stay off Facebook and Instagram for 24 hours today. Kim K used the hashtag #StopHateForProfit and blamed the platform for spreading hate and propaganda and also misinformation. So Amy Schumer posted an image of Mark Zuckerberg, and you could look at the image right there. It says, quote, ignoring repeated warnings that Facebook users were organizing to slaughter peaceful protesters is not an operational mistake. It's complicity in murder. So she said that because earlier this month, Zuckerberg admitted Facebook failed to remove a page that encouraged armed Americans to take to the streets in Kenosha, Wisconsin, calling it an operational mistake. Okay, so Erica, how effective, in your opinion, are these campaigns, considering that many of these celebrities help make these platforms millions of dollars?
I love the message. I love the call to action. I don't know how effective it is that it's only lasting 24 hours because, to be honest, the average person isn't utilizing these social platforms in a way that if my favorite celebrity were not to post for 24 hours, I would notice. But we are talking about it, so perhaps there will be a greater call to action after this 24-hour period. But I do believe in exactly what they're saying.
I do too, and I do find it ironic. First of all, I give Kim Kardashian now all the credit for really going all in on this. She's taking this as like her new mission. But her husband is known to spread a lot of misinformation, and then he'll double down on it and not take any sort of accountability. How do you think that must be playing out in her own personal life?
Sam, I'm sure a lot of our viewers look at this story and they're like, I don't care what Kim Kardashian does. I don't care what Amy Schumer does. Let me tell you the problem with information and how it can affect everybody. I was reading about the wildfires in Oregon yesterday just because of how scary they are. And it was said that there was a couple, an older couple in their mid-70s, that had told their kids that they had their bags packed, that they thought that they were going to leave. And then they read something, not saying it was on Facebook, they did not reveal the situation because they don't know, but then they read something that said that the fire was 51% contained and their bodies were found later that day because it was not true. So the fact, we have to be honest that a lot of people get their news from social media, so we need to police it because it is literally life and death. So if you don't care about Kim Kardashian or Amy Schumer or Justin Timberlake, that's fine, but these are people's lives on the line right now.
Well said, well said. A lot of you are also, I'm reading your comments as we speak, talking about this next story. Cardi B has filed for divorce from Offset after 3 years of marriage. So court documents reveal Cardi says the marriage is irretrievably broken and there are no prospects for reconciliation. A source revealed to People magazine that Offset cheated on Cardi B throughout their entire relationship, but she chose to look away because of their daughter Culture. But now she apparently is saying that she's had enough. What do you make of this, Erica? Should someone, in your opinion, stay together for the kids, or do you think that actually sets up a bad example?
I don't have kids, and I'm not judging anybody for their decisions about whether they should stay together or not. When it comes to Cardi B and Offset's marriage, I am not trying to X and O this situation. I do commend anyone who decides to do what is best for their family, regardless of what that decision is. In terms of what she said subsequently, she says she wants it to be amicable. And I can talk about divorce because an amicable divorce should be the only divorce. Because if you want to be miserable, you might as well have just stayed together.
Wow. That was so well said, Erica. Speaking of divorce, and obviously a lot of divorces, there are children involved. I think a lot of people say, I'm going to stay in the marriage because of the kids. But you have to remember, your kids, no matter what age they are looking at you, Erica. They're looking at you, Sam. They're looking at the way that you guys interact. They know when mom and dad are fighting. They know when you guys aren't speaking. They know when you're sleeping in separate bedrooms. They know everything.
What will be the example for affection?
Exactly. And so when they turn a certain age and they start looking for a partner, what character traits are they going to look for in a partner? Well said. They want to see, you want to show your kids, even if it's with a second partner, this is how a man treats your mom. This is how your mom treats somebody that she loves. No matter what kind of relationship it is, homosexual or heterosexual. So it's very important to show your kids a healthy relationship, not just trying to remain intact.
I couldn't agree with you more. As hard as it must be for that child too, and you've done it, you've lived it.
My kids are fine.
But
but I'm not saying it didn't affect them. I'm sure it did.
But at the end of the day, to see the example of affection, I think is something that's going to impact them much more later on in their own relationship. So in my opinion, it's actually a selfless gift, so to speak. Okay, so if you guys had $1 million to spare, well, we got some really cool, unique items that we found that are up for auction. So first, you can bid on Stan the T-Rex. What? He's 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, is one of the world's most complete set of T-Rex bones. He's currently on display at Christie's in New York and is expected to fetch between $6 and $8 million. That's unbelievable. Would you ever consider purchasing a T-Rex?
That's not from me, but I'm sure there are some multimillionaires that are big Indiana Jones fans. So if you're a fan of people that look up bones and that era, why not if you got the money?
Oh, I guess so. Okay, so Erica, this one. Kobe Bryant's autographed section of the Staples Center floor. Kobe signed his number 8 after his final game in 2016. So this one could go as much as $500,000. Wow, Erica. Can you imagine bidding for something like that if you had the money? So personal.
I mean, has got to be the coolest thing. I mean, there's so many things and ways that could be displayed to really just show respect and admiration for Kobe's legacy. So whoever gets that, I mean, that's going to go for some coin.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And finally, you guys, this one is so cool. A plastic crown worn by the Notorious B.I.G. Yup. Well, it just sold nearly $600,000. The late rapper famously wore, of course, that crown. Guess what? It was only $6 when he purchased it. And he wore that crown on a photo shoot, but we've all seen that image repurposed for T-shirts and posters and so much memorabilia. So that one is pretty darn cool.
I always get on our group thread for the viewers. We have a group thread. We always talk. I was at the airport months and months back, and I meant to tell you because I tried to take a sneak picture. This is how pervasive hip-hop is in our culture. There was an older white woman sitting waiting for a flight that had a cat on it that had that Biggie crown.
Did she know?
She had no idea.
Did you tell her?
Real. No. What am I going to walk up? No. She would have maced me. But I'm saying it's so amazing how pervasive it is that she had that Biggie crown on it, but she just thought she had a cat with a crown.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes you could be.
I have questions, Al. I have questions.
First of all, where do you get it?
How do you know that lady didn't know? How do you know she didn't know?
I'm being ageist. You're right. Who knows? She might have been a fan
Erica,
of Big Papa.
I'm with you. You never know if you're sitting on a pot of gold. I'm going to show you my pot of gold. Al,
like
don't even start grimacing at me. This is.
That looks like a casket for fun.
This is the original 1986. Oh my God.
Why is it leaning?
Stop it. Samantha doll. Yes, the American Girl doll. And what's great about her is, of course, you know, all your kids probably have the recent Samantha Girl doll. I don't know why her eyes are closed. Mine's the original. So, Al, I think this is my pot of gold. One day I may just auction her off.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get very much, Sam, but you know what?
That's not true. Why would you say that?
What do you think that's worth, Sam?
I've looked. Right now it's worth like $2,500. And one day.
Sam.
What?
Sam.
What?
Is that Monopoly money?
No, she's been retired. This is the Samantha Harrington doll.
I think it came retired.
She's a Victorian orphan from 1904. I have her birth certificate.
You didn't even put her hat on.
I know she has a hat. Where is her hat? I have the whole outfit. This isn't the outfit. These are her pajamas.
Oh my goodness, that's disturbing. You know that doll talks when you go to sleep.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Anyways,
does.
this is my retirement plan.
Walks around the house.
That's my retirement
Erica, would you pay $2,500 for that? Maybe I'd pay $1,000 for you to shut the case.
We're out of time. We're out of time. Oh no!
Get her feet in.
Okay. I gotta put her.
Maybe we should
back
have walked through this
we'll be
before
right
we did this.
We'll be right back. My poor Samantha doll. I said.
Tomorrow on DBL. In a his and hers world, meet a mom who's raising her child without gender. The reasons behind her controversial parenting style.
There's no such thing as like girls' toys or boys' clothes.
And hip-hop star Ray J is on the show. From divorce drama to new music.
I don't wanna hurt you, but I know I bruise you. I don't wanna lose you.
He'll tell us about it tomorrow on DBL.
One car accident.
Welcome back to DBL. 76 years ago, the execution of a young black teen made history in South Carolina. George Stinney was convicted and tried in a one-day trial. Decades later, his case was overturned, and it's now being used today as a lesson. Here's the latest on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
George Stinney Jr. was a 14-year-old living in Alcula, South Carolina. He and his family lived in a very small, working-class mill town where white and black neighborhoods were separated by railroad tracks. It was March 1944. Two young girls, 7-year-old Mary Thames and 11-year-old Betty Binnicker, were found dead. Police were tipped off that the girls were seen talking to George and later showed up at his home and arrested him.
There was no real investigation done by the police. It was just assumed that either George Stinney or George Stinney and his brother committed this offense.
What happened next made history.
One of the most shocking things in the George Stinney case is he was tried by a jury of 12 white men. That certainly is not a jury of his peers. That's certainly not a cross-section of Clarendon County at the time, which was half African-American, half white. And here we have an all-white jury with his family not being even allowed into the courtroom.
The trial lasted only 2 hours, and the jury had a 10-minute deliberation. George was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by electric chair. There were 70 years of silence. And then in 2014, George's case came back in the spotlight when his family pushed for a retrial and high school students started researching the case.
And I think for all of us in my class, it was kind of like a starting fire for us to understand more of what we had to do to get justice for anyone and us as well.
It worked. A new trial was granted and the verdict was overturned, citing fundamental constitutional violations of due process.
We don't know whether or not he did it, but that wasn't the issue. It was whether or not his constitutional rights were preserved, and they weren't, and that was clear. And the further I got into it, the more I saw just how obvious and blatant it was that he wasn't afforded his constitutional protections.
George's family hopes his story can be a lesson for today's society as protests rage on for racial equality.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young. First of all, they didn't give him a chance. Look at stuff that's going on up here now. They didn't give him a chance.
Earlier, Al and I spoke with a reporter in South Carolina to learn more about this case. Take a look. We are joined by News 19 anchor J.R. Berry from Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you for joining us. George's case was overturned in 2014, but his story is still being used today as a lesson. Please let us know about that.
You know, what happened to George Stinney should never, ever happen again in an American courtroom. You know, we have laws on the books right now we didn't have back then ensuring we have equal justice for blacks and whites. You may find this hard to believe, but way back in 1944, George Stinney was the only black person in the courtroom for his trial, which lasted not all of a day. Just terrible.
Well, you know, to that point, there have been questions for years of whether his original trial was fair. Many have said that he was forced to confess. Can you give us any background behind that?
You know, he was 14 when all of this happened, and his parents weren't even there for questioning or his trial. They actually had to flee Alcolu on the day of his arrest because they were told that a lynch mob was headed to their home to hurt them. So they left. They never saw George again. He also, guys, didn't have an attorney for questioning, which has fueled speculation over the years that this young man confessed, perhaps in an effort to save his family somehow, that perhaps law enforcement made certain threats. But again, pure speculation by some who have followed this case over the years.
It makes my my skin crawl and my stomach upset for his family and 14 years old. Wow, what an injustice. Yeah. Now, it has been 76 years. So what is the general consensus in that community, that particular small community? Are they still split if George did it or not?
Well, apparently they're still split with passion, guys, because right now most of the players who were around when all of this happened have passed on, but they do have family members who have survived, and Stinnie's surviving family members to this day, and others in the community continue to believe in his innocence. But the girls' family members, the two victims in this case, they still believe he was guilty. So do others in the community, despite this judge basically saying Stinnie did not get a fair trial and he didn't do it.
Wow. JR, we appreciate you bringing this case to light. A lot of people, I don't think, are aware of it, except for that small community. So thank you for the latest on this case. Yeah. And to our viewers, if you want to learn more, visit WLTX.com. You can also listen to the new podcast episode about George called An Execution in South Carolina. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Thank you, JR.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would look at this like, why are you running a story about a 70-year-old case? Your name and your legacy is all you really have in this world. And being exonerated, even posthumously, is important, and especially just the right to a fair trial. And that's why we continue to go back and revisit history, so we make sure that we're not going to repeat it.
Well said. And the family did not give up.
That's
they
right.
Absolutely did not. In fact, did you know that there could be as many as 230,000 innocent people behind bars right now as we speak? This Friday, DBL is diving into some of those wrongfully convicted stories with our new series, Freedom Files. Our premiere episode shares the incredible story of Christopher Scott. Christopher was wrongfully convicted of capital murder. You do not want to miss his story. That's this Friday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. So a 2-year smartphone sleep study proves that a lack of sleep is linked to weight gain. We're chatting about it in today's Rise and Thrive, sponsored by SoClean. So for years, researchers have studied how sleep influences your BMI by relying on the participants' memory. But a new study used fitness trackers and smartphones, and they found that over a 2-year period, they tracked the sleep of 120,000 people, by the way. But the study found that those with BMIs of 30 or above, which is considered obese, slept less than average at night. So when you're feeling sleep deprived, certain hormones will spike, which does result in increased appetite. So when it comes to sleep, for more ways to rest easy, go to SoClean.com or call 1-800-528-6029. That makes perfect sense. When I'm literally like sleep deprived, all I want to do is shove comfort food in my mouth.
A snack. And definitely don't forget, when you have a higher BMI, you have more weight on your chest, just more fat, and it's harder to breathe. That's where you get snoring. That's where you get sleep apnea.
Whoa,
and you wake
it's
up.
all interconnected.
That's right.
Oh, that's a really important study. Coming up on DBL, a mysterious flying object baffles onlookers. Look at that. Is that a UFO?
I knew you would believe this.
Or is it something much more explainable, Al? Find out next.
Daily Blast Live. We're giving away the official Daytime Emmy gift bag filled with luxury products worth more than $5,000. Here's how you can win. Send us a video telling us about your quarantine, how your life has changed, new hobbies, or plans you had to cancel, and what you look forward to the most once the pandemic is over. The winner will be announced Friday, September 25th, and become the owner of the official Daytime Emmy gift bag.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The bladder.
Welcome back to DBL. Now, before we go, we have to talk about what happened in Jersey on Monday. People thought they saw a UFO. Some even got out of their cars. Watch.
Yo, I don't know, but everybody stopped to see the aliens. It says, that's what everybody said, bro.
I got some bad news for you all believers. Turns out it was just the Goodyear blimp. It was there for Monday night's NFL game. Erica, would you have believed this? Would you have been fooled?
I just like the commentary on that. Everybody stopped to see the aliens. That's what they said.
I know, right?
Apparently the aliens are sponsored by Goodyear.
Good one, Al. Hey, I have a bone to pick with the viewers. Y'all are comparing my Samantha Harrington doll to Chucky.
First of all, the eye is shut. That's super creepy.
I take great Erica Cobb.
Do you see this terrifying doll?
Erica Cobb, hey.
Open its eye. It's so creepy, Sam. Don't poke its eye. Now that's even weirder.
Bye, you guys.
Here's what we're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
A black voter challenges President Trump on his Make America Great Again slogan. Is it tone deaf?
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America?
We have tremendous African American support.
Plus, Joe Biden gets criticized for his choice of song to rally Latino support. Young, black, and sentenced to death.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young.
It is the shocking story of a 14-year-old boy executed more than 70 years ago in today's True Crime Chronicles. From hospital security guard to earning a PhD in molecular oncology, one man shares his inspirational journey to live out his dream of being a doctor.
I think all it took was a little curiosity for one of them to finally tell me yes.
And going, gone. In the market for a dinosaur skeleton? Wait until you hear the incredible items hitting the auction block.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, September 16th. I'm Sam here with Al.
Hello, I love the dress. It's literally fire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And we are coordinating almost like if we were to be going to prom together.
Yes,
I like
there
that.
we go. Homecoming.
Color coordinated. Erica, how are you joining us from home?
I am wonderful. You guys look great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. You look awesome as usual.
Erica cannot look bad for the life of her, so just saying. Okay, so
girl, takes one to know one.
Thank you, Edie. I appreciate that. Did you all watch President Trump's town hall last night? Well, there was a lot of backlash, or back and forth.
And backlash.
Yes, between ABC's George Stephanopoulos and the president about whether he downplayed the coronavirus, which, of course, the president was recorded saying back in February. Watch.
I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. It would go away without the vaccine, George. but it's going to go away a lot faster with it.
Go away without the vaccine?
Sure, over a period of time. Sure, with time it goes
and many
away.
deaths.
And you'll develop herd, like a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen. That will all happen. But with the vaccine, I think it will go away very quickly.
Okay, so there was another moment from the town hall that a lot of you are talking about. A black pastor from Philadelphia confronted the president about his slogan, "Make America Great Again." Take a listen.
You've coined the phrase, "Make America Great Again."
Right.
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America? Are you aware of how tone deaf that comes off to African American community?
Well, I hope there's not a race problem. I can tell you there's none with me. You could just go back 6 or 7 months from now. That was the best single moment in the history of the African American people in this country.
So let's chat about it. Is the slogan, "Make America Great Again," tone deaf when it comes to Americans of color? Al, what do you think?
I think it is, but I think it's not for me. And I think this town hall was great for Trump. And I'll tell you why, Sam, because since the beginning, he understood that he's not going to win over a lot of people that are on the fence. He's for dang sure not going to win over the people that are anti-Trump. So every campaign stop, every press conference is a chance to talk to his base. And what he is saying is, hey, guys, I'm not racist and you're not either. I played this coronavirus well, and you guys all know it. And anybody else that's not on board now, they're not coming anyway. So he did this the way he's always done this. He was prepared for those questions. He pivoted to just like, hey, before the coronavirus, everything was great. He had all these things queued up and ready to go. So I think it was a home run in terms of him for his base, Erica. I don't think anybody else really matters at this point.
Facts, Al, facts. And I think that's where we are at this point. People are speaking to those who are either in the same mindset or people who are on the fence based on maybe single issues. When we're talking about just anytime we have that slogan, "Make America Great," we've been saying this from the beginning. It's very one-sided and it's directed towards a certain group of people. There's just no other way to have that conversation, and I'm glad that question was asked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know I'm white and I benefit from my privilege, but I can't imagine if I was sitting in either Erica or Al's shoes. I mean, I'm offended for you. To think that, "Make America Great Again," considering our history, and a lot of it is very recent history, when was it ever great for people of color? When was it ever great for the LGBTQ community? But listen, that is just my opinion. We are getting a lot of your comments in right now, and I always want to read them. I always want to bring in the other side. Let me bring in Susie on Twitter. She says, "Don't you realize this is a setup? George Stephanopoulos was a Bill Clinton advisor. He has handled the pandemic good." And then John just chimed in saying he took those questions like a man. Many of the questions were not Trump supporters and rude to the president. So thank you.
Like I said, talking to his base.
Yeah,
he figured it out early. Great strategy.
That's a positive. Okay, so President Trump wasn't the only one receiving criticism. While the president was in Philly for the town hall, Joe Biden was in Florida at a Hispanic Heritage Month event. Well, he's getting a lot of flack for what he did at the podium. Take a look.
There you go. Dance a little bit, Joe. Come on.
I tell you what, if I had the talent of any one of these people, I'd be elected president by acclamation.
So one person on Twitter wrote, "I can't tell which pandering was more cringy, Hillary saying she had hot sauce in her purse or Joe playing 10 seconds of Despacito." Another person tweeted, "Thank goodness he decided against the sombrero eye roll emoji." So really quickly though, an important piece of context, Biden was introduced by Louis Fonsi, who wrote Despacito. So put that aside. Do you think this was pandering? Or was this him trying to be cool? Or was he trying to give homage to the person that just introduced him?
I definitely think that he was trying to give homage. And honestly, I didn't know that that was the person. I think a lot of people that watched this press conference had no idea that he was the person that wrote Despacito, because the people that love Despacito don't necessarily watch presidential candidates speak. If you look, there's 7 billion people that watched that video. I didn't, so I didn't get that context. But if Elton John had brought him up, I think if he had played Rocket Man, everybody would have understood.
Erica, did you feel like it was cringeworthy?
I'm just going to model for something for people who still don't get this. I am not Latina. I am not going to put my 2 cents in as to what was appropriate and pandering for something for that culture, because I don't appreciate it at all when it's done to me.
Got it. All right.
Well, I don't mind.
Okay, so we got to take a moment to reach out to all of our viewers along the Gulf Coast. We are thinking of you guys because there are warnings of heavy rains, more than 30 inches in some areas, as well as historic, even life-threatening flooding as a result of Hurricane Sally. So we just want to wish you guys well. We hope that everyone is going to stay safe. We hope that you guys listen to the local officials. And of course, again, we are going to be sending our thoughts and our prayers. And please check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. You're shaking your head out.
How much can people take, Sam? I think when you read heavy rains, and Eric, I don't know, when I read that, sometimes you think, oh, well, it rains, we can handle that. I mean, water damage is much worse than like a tornado because it seeps into the foundation of things, and things are no longer useful. So long after that water recedes, nothing works in that town. The foundations are all cracked, and everything needs to be redone. So between the rain, the fire, the corona, I mean, how much more unemployment? It's just a lot for this country.
Yeah, I mean, what can we say at this point? I mean, it's us against Mother Nature. I just feel terrible for people. It's like one thing happens, and before you can even get on your feet, there's something else. So obviously, we're thinking about them at this time.
Yeah, and just remember, you know, after the floods in California, quickly after that came after the rain and everything, the mudslides. Oh. So let's just see. There's not a lot that you can do to prepare, but at the same time, knowing that the mudslides will most likely follow, there are some preventive measures that you can take. And if you're affected, please write in. We want to hear from you. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli. She's going to tackle more coronavirus questions, and she's going to clear up your confusion. Then from security guard, you guys, to doctor, you have to meet a Louisiana man who got his PhD in molecular oncology and is now earning not 1, but 2 more degrees. And as DBL enters its 4th year, most of our coworkers, check it out, they're not here, they're working from home because of the pandemic. We miss all of you guys, and we will be right back.
This
Welcome back to DBL. Even though we're months into the pandemic, there's still so much uncertainty and so much misinformation out there. That's why we hooked you up. We got our own Dr. Paul Coley, who's going to join us to answer all your COVID-19 questions with just the facts, we promise. Earlier, Tori and I got a chance to speak to the doctor. Check it out.
We would love for you to explain the recent news about scientists discovering an antibody that neutralizes the virus that causes COVID-19. So for anyone that's not a Harvard grad and MIT like you, I bow down. What does neutralize mean? Is that like a cure?
So neutralize, Tori, means that it actually prevents the virus from getting into the host cells. So have you guys watched that movie, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's so cute.
Yes. So if the regular antibodies are like the regular heroes, the neutralizing antibodies are like Mr. Incredible. They can neutralize the threat immediately, prevent the virus from getting into the host cells. And it's actually really cool because it's something that we could give patients who've been exposed to the virus to make their illness less severe. So I wouldn't think of it as a cure, so much so as a treatment that's really going to help us recover from the virus more quickly, even if we are exposed.
She's a doctor of pop culture, too.
I love it. All right, let's get to some viewer questions. Jeanette says, my child has severe food allergies. Tell me about it. So should I be concerned about what food proteins might be in a COVID-19 vaccine? That's a great question.
Yeah, it is. And the food allergies are so common. So luckily, the way that the COVID-19 vaccine is being engineered, so far it's not being grown in any egg cells like the flu vaccine, for example. And so food allergies are less of a concern. But depending on which vaccine ends up winning out and how it gets manufactured, this is something we may have to think about once we're at that point. So certainly, Jeanette, keep an eye on how it's being created and when it hits the market.
Wow, which one is going to win out?
Natalie, I like that name, Jeanette.
Jeanette. My friend was Jenny as a Jeanette, and I thought, huh, neat. Doc, Natalie asks, should you wear a mask when going through a drive-through or curbside pickup, or is it okay because you're in your car? I always wear a mask.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, ever since this pandemic started, you guys, all I've been doing is picturing droplets coming at me in slow motion, like in the movies, wherever I go and whoever I see. So when I'm going, yeah, exactly. You got to dodge it, just right. But so whenever I'm going to the drive-thru, I'm sitting in my car and someone is sitting in a position above me and I'm sitting in a dependent position and their droplets are falling right on my face. So personally, I definitely put on the mask when I open the window. I even put on my sunglasses so that if anything falls, I can dodge it like the Matrix.
Oh, that gives me an excuse to wear sunglasses inside.
You
I'd be
love wearing them, and you look good in them out. You wear them well.
All right, last question. Doc James says, I read that Dr. Fauci recommends vitamin C and D for a healthy immune system. Is it better to get those vitamins through food, supplements, or both? I thought vitamin D came from sunshine.
It does come from sunshine, but it also comes from dietary sources, Al, like milk and yogurt and cheese. So I always say, essentially, food is the best medicine. If you can get your vitamins and supplements from food, that's really the best thing to do. But often our diet's not well balanced. If you're like me and you're running around all day, not drinking enough milk, then you can have deficiencies. So I usually tend to encourage supplements for those people who might be at certain higher risk. And personally, I've been taking a vitamin C and vitamin D ever since this pandemic started.
All right, that's what I'm going to be doing then.
Good to know. Yeah, I do whatever she
I go
does.
as she goes.
Thank you, Doc. We'll be back. You'll be back tomorrow. If you do have a question about coronavirus you want answered by Dr. Coley, just write us. It's very simple. Don't be scared on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. We don't even have to say your name. We just want to give you an option to get to a medical expert easily. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you this story was very special to me. It's the story of Russell Leday. He's proof that age and experience should not and cannot define your dreams. He was a hard-working security guard at a Louisiana hospital who kept asking for help when everyone said no. Now he's trading in a security uniform for a lab coat at that same hospital. I was lucky enough to catch up with him earlier for today's DBL Spotlight. Dr. Russell Leday, welcome to DBL. You have such an interesting story. Let's get right into it. You were a security guard at Baton Rouge General Med for 5 years, and over the time you started asking if you could shadow doctors. How many of them turned you down, and what did it take for one of them to say yes?
A number of them, said no. At least 20 to 30 of them said no over the course of about a year and a half. And I think all it took was a little curiosity for one of them to finally tell me yes. I was walking this guy who was a surgeon at the time, and I asked him, I was like, man, what do you do? He was like, I'm a surgeon. And I was like, so you think I can shadow you? He looked at me and he was like, man, you know what? Yeah, why not? And that's all it took was one yes.
Well, let's get back to the reason you asked that question. What inspired you to get into the medical field, making such a drastic career change and asking for that first shadowing opportunity?
I asked that question because I was enamored by the white coat walking around the hospital. And I was just curious. I was curious as to, how do you take care of a sick patient? How do you make sure that they make it home when they come into the hospital incredibly ill? And I never really thought it would come to fruition. But I figured it wouldn't hurt for me to dream big.
Well, it hadn't hurt. Look at you now, bro. That white coat is shining. You have a PhD in molecular oncology, and now you're back at that same hospital, but as a medical student. So you have to tell me, and do not be humble now, please. What was that full circle moment like for you? Did you pull up playing Look at Me Now in the parking lot?
Nah, man. I actually pulled up listening to this song by a guy named Gregory Porter called Take Me to That Alley.
Take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted ones.
And so that kind of reminded me of where I started and how I can't take this moment to have a lot of pride on my chest. I always say that the opportunity to take care of people is a privilege. I went there very thankful and grateful and just humbled by an opportunity to go back where I once dreamed of becoming a physician, to take care of people, and especially the people of Louisiana, because that's where I'm from.
That's inspiring. Now, putting work aside for a second, but this also pertains to your community, you're making changes in your community. You helped organize the photo of 15 black doctors, which I saw and really just floored me, wearing white coats in front of a former slave plantation. These photos went viral. Like I said, I saw them, and millions of other people did too. Can you tell us a little bit more about this photo?
Yeah, man, so that photo was really an opportunity for us to remind ourselves of how far we've come in spite of systems that were put in place to make sure that we never got here. It costs upwards of $5,000 to $10,000 sometimes to apply to medical school. I'm not talking about pay for medical school, I'm talking about just apply. And so we utilize that photo as an opportunity for us to raise some money and help some people apply to medical school, get into medical school, and then get through medical school.
That's awesome, man. You are living proof that anybody can do what they set their mind to, despite all your achievements and success. How do you feel like society perceives you?
I think on a good day, society perceives me as a gentleman. I do think every once in a while there are some bad days in which society perceives me as a threat. But I think we do need to work together so that systems that were put in place so that people like me wouldn't thrive are put to shame and also put away so that people can thrive. And every story is not I came up from the hood story, but a story of triumph and success.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps, brother. Dr. Russell Leday, it's been a pleasure having you on DBL, an honor, actually. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by...
If you've ever considered
Welcome back to DBL. Erica, working from home. Okay, so I've got comments from DBL Nation, okay? You guys are split down the middle. John says, Trump thinks Joe Biden is president. He blamed Biden for not implementing a national mask mandate. But then Patrick says, facts are he's a great president and he will continue to be a great president for the next 4 years. And finally, Roseanne says, hey, Sam, just wanted to let you know I started watching Anne with an E.
And Erica, I want to let you know, I promised Sam in between the commercial break that I was going to watch at least 2 episodes.
Next week?
Yes, for next week.
I wonder
promise.
if Erica's seen it. Erica, I haven't heard from you. Have you seen Anne with an E?
No.
Will you watch Anne with an E?
No.
Will you watch Anne with an E?
Will I?
Yeah.
I mean, I could put it on the list.
Put it on the list, girl.
How is Erica not in Congress or something? She's so good with her answers. She didn't say no, but that definitely was not a yes.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list means yeah, no. If you were sticking around, here's what's coming up. A UFO sends people into a panic. Was it aliens or something else? And Kim K will tell you what her next mission is. DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Al, Erica, joining us from home. Okay, so did you notice that some celebrities are taking a break from social media today? Well, if you did, this is actually their way of protesting hate speech on Facebook and Instagram. So here's what happened. We got stars like Katy Perry, Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio. They are asking people to stay off Facebook and Instagram for 24 hours today. Kim K used the hashtag #StopHateForProfit and blamed the platform for spreading hate and propaganda and also misinformation. So Amy Schumer posted an image of Mark Zuckerberg, and you could look at the image right there. It says, quote, ignoring repeated warnings that Facebook users were organizing to slaughter peaceful protesters is not an operational mistake. It's complicity in murder. So she said that because earlier this month, Zuckerberg admitted Facebook failed to remove a page that encouraged armed Americans to take to the streets in Kenosha, Wisconsin, calling it an operational mistake. Okay, so Erica, how effective, in your opinion, are these campaigns, considering that many of these celebrities help make these platforms millions of dollars?
I love the message. I love the call to action. I don't know how effective it is that it's only lasting 24 hours because, to be honest, the average person isn't utilizing these social platforms in a way that if my favorite celebrity were not to post for 24 hours, I would notice. But we are talking about it, so perhaps there will be a greater call to action after this 24-hour period. But I do believe in exactly what they're saying.
I do too, and you know, I do find it ironic. First of all, I give Kim Kardashian now all the credit for really going all in on this. She's taking this as like her new mission. But her husband is known to spread a lot of misinformation, and then he'll double down on it and not take any sort of accountability. How do you think that must be playing out in her own personal life?
You know, Sam, I'm sure a lot of our viewers look at this story and they're like, I don't care what Kim Kardashian does. I don't care what Amy Schumer does. Let me tell you the problem with information and how it can affect everybody. I was reading about the wildfires in Oregon yesterday just because of how scary they are. And it was said that there was a couple, an older couple in their mid-70s, that had told their kids that they had their bags packed, that they thought that they were going to leave. And then they read something, not saying it was on Facebook, they did not reveal the situation because they don't know, but then they read something that said that the fire was 51% contained and their bodies were found later that day because it was not true. So the fact, we have to be honest that a lot of people get their news from social media, so we need to police it because it is literally life and death. So if you don't care about Kim Kardashian or Amy Schumer or Justin Timberlake, that's fine, but these are people's lives on the line right now.
Well said, well said. A lot of you are also, I'm reading your comments as we speak, talking about this next story. Cardi B has filed for divorce from Offset after 3 years of marriage. So court documents reveal Cardi says the marriage is irretrievably broken and there are no prospects for reconciliation. A source revealed to People magazine that Offset cheated on Cardi B throughout their entire relationship, but she chose to look away because of their daughter Culture. But now she apparently is saying that she's had enough. What do you make of this, Erica? Should someone, in your opinion, stay together for the kids, or do you think that actually sets up a bad example?
I don't have kids, and I'm not judging anybody for their decisions about whether they should stay together or not. When it comes to Cardi B and Offset's marriage, I am not trying to X and O this situation. I do commend anyone who decides to do what is best for their family, regardless of what that decision is. In terms of what she said subsequently, she says she wants it to be amicable. And I can talk about divorce because an amicable divorce should be the only divorce. Because if you want to be miserable, you might as well have just stayed together.
Wow. That was so well said, Erica. You know, speaking of divorce, and obviously a lot of divorces, there are children involved. I think a lot of people say, I'm going to stay in the marriage because of the kids. But you have to remember, your kids, no matter what age they are looking at you, Erica. They are looking at you, Sam. They're looking at the way that you guys interact. They know when mom and dad are fighting. They know when you guys aren't speaking. They know when you're sleeping in separate bedrooms. They know everything.
What will be the example for affection?
Exactly. And so when they turn a certain age and they start looking for a partner, what character traits are they going to look for in a partner?
Well said.
They want to see, you want to show your kids, even if it's with a second partner, this is how a man treats your mom. This is how your mom treats somebody that she loves. You know, no matter what kind of relationship it is, homosexual or heterosexual. So it's very important to show your kids a healthy relationship, not just trying to remain intact.
I couldn't agree with you more. As hard as it must be for that child too, and you've done it, you've lived it.
My kids are fine.
But
you know, but I'm not saying it didn't affect them. I'm sure it did.
But at the end of the day, to see the example of affection, I think is something that's going to impact them much more later on in their own relationship. So in my opinion, it's actually a selfless gift, so to speak. Okay, so if you guys had $1 million to spare, well, we got some really cool, unique items that we found that are up for auction. So first, you can bid on Stan the T-Rex. What? He's 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, is one of the world's most complete set of T-Rex bones. He's currently on display at Christie's in New York and is expected to fetch between $6 and $8 million. That's unbelievable. Would you ever consider purchasing a T-Rex?
That's not from me, but I'm sure there are some multimillionaires that are big Indiana Jones fans. So if you're a fan of people that look up bones and that era, why not if you got the money?
Oh, I guess so. Okay, so Erica, this one. Kobe Bryant's autographed section of the Staples Center floor. Kobe signed his number 8 after his final game in 2016. So this one could go as much as $500,000. Wow, Erica. Can you imagine bidding for something like that if you had the money? So personal.
I mean, that has got to be the coolest thing. I mean, there's so many things and ways that could be displayed to really just show respect and admiration for Kobe's legacy. So whoever gets that, I mean, that's going to go for some coin.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And finally, you guys, this one is so cool. A plastic crown worn by the Notorious B.I.G. Yup. Well, it just sold nearly $600,000. The late rapper famously wore, of course, that crown. Guess what? It was only $6 when he purchased it. And he wore that crown on a photo shoot, but we've all seen that image repurposed for T-shirts and posters and so much memorabilia. So that one is pretty darn cool.
I always get on our group thread for the viewers. We have a group thread. We always talk. I was at the airport months and months back, and I meant to tell you because I tried to take a sneak picture. This is how pervasive hip-hop is in our culture. There was an older white woman sitting waiting for a flight that had a cat on it that had that Biggie crown.
Did she know?
She had no idea.
Did you tell
it was
her?
real. No. What am I going to walk up? No. She would have maced me. But I'm saying it's so amazing how pervasive it is that she had that Biggie crown on it, but she just thought she had a cat with a crown.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes you could be.
I have questions, Al. I have questions.
First of all, where do you get it?
How do you know that lady didn't know? How do you know she didn't know?
I'm being ageist. You're right. Who knows? She might have been a fan
Erica,
of Big Papa.
I'm with you. You never know if you're sitting on a pot of gold. I'm going to show you my pot of gold. Al,
like
don't even start grimacing at me. This is.
That looks like a casket for fun.
This is the original 1986. Oh my God.
Why is it leaning?
Stop it. Samantha doll. Yes, the American Girl doll. And what's great about her is, of course, you know, all your kids probably have the recent Samantha Girl doll. I don't know why her eyes are closed. Mine's the original. So, Al, I think this is my pot of gold. One day I may just auction her off.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get very much, Sam, but you know what?
That's not true. Why would you say that?
What do you think that's worth, Sam?
I've looked. Right now it's worth like $2,500. And one day.
Sam.
What?
Sam.
What?
Is that Monopoly money?
No, she's been retired. This is the Samantha Harrington doll.
I think it came retired.
She's a Victorian orphan from 1904. I have her birth certificate.
You didn't even put her hat on.
I know she has a hat. Where is her hat? I have the whole outfit. This isn't the outfit. These are her pajamas.
Oh my goodness, that's disturbing. You know that doll talks when you go to sleep.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Anyways,
does.
this is my retirement plan.
Walks around the house.
That's my retirement
Erica, would you pay $2,500 for that? Maybe I'd pay $1,000 for you to shut
We're out
the
of
case.
Time. We're out of time. Oh no!
Get her feet in.
Okay, I gotta put her
Maybe
back
have walked
carefully.
through this
We'll be right
before
back.
we did this.
We'll be right back. My poor
Put
Samantha
that
doll.
away.
I said.
Tomorrow on DBL. In a his and hers world, meet a mom who's raising her child without gender. The reasons behind her controversial parenting style.
There's no such thing as like girls' toys or boys' clothes.
And hip-hop star Ray J is on the show. From divorce drama to new music.
I don't wanna hurt you, but I know I bruised you. I don't wanna lose you.
He'll tell us about it tomorrow on DBL.
One car accident.
Welcome back to DBL. 76 years ago, the execution of a young black teen made history in South Carolina. George Stinney was convicted and tried in a one-day trial. Decades later, his case was overturned, and it's now being used today as a lesson. Here's the latest on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
George Stinney Jr. was a 14-year-old living in Alcula, South Carolina. He and his family lived in a very small, working-class mill town where white and black neighborhoods were separated by railroad tracks. It was March 1944. Two young girls, 7-year-old Mary Thames and 11-year-old Betty Binnicker, were found dead. Police were tipped off that the girls were seen talking to George and later showed up at his home and arrested him.
There was no real investigation done by the police. It was just assumed that either George Stinney or George Stinney and his brother committed this offense.
What happened next made history.
One of the most shocking things in the George Stinney case is he was tried by a jury of 12 white men. That certainly is not a jury of his peers. That's certainly not a cross-section of Clarendon County at the time, which was half African-American, half white. And here we have an all-white jury with his family not being even allowed into the courtroom.
The trial lasted only 2 hours, and the jury had a 10-minute deliberation. George was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by electric chair. There were 70 years of silence, and then in 2014, George's case came back in the spotlight when his family pushed for a retrial and high school students started researching the case.
And I think for all of us in my class, it was kind of like a starting fire for us to understand more of what we had to do to get justice for anyone and us as well.
It worked. A new trial was granted and the verdict was overturned, citing fundamental constitutional violations of due process.
We don't know whether or not he did it, but that wasn't the issue. It was whether or not his constitutional rights were preserved, and they weren't, and that was clear. And the further I got into it, the more I saw just how obvious and blatant it was that he wasn't afforded his constitutional protections.
George's family hopes his story can be a lesson for today's society as protests rage on for racial equality.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young. First of all, they didn't give him a chance. Look at stuff that's going on up here now. They didn't give him a chance.
Earlier, Al and I spoke with a reporter in South Carolina to learn more about this case. Take a look. We are joined by News 19 anchor J.R. Berry from Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you for joining us. George's case was overturned in 2014, but his story is still being used today as a lesson. Please let us know about that.
You know, what happened to George Stinney should never, ever happen again in an American courtroom. You know, we have laws on the books right now we didn't have back then ensuring we have equal justice for blacks and whites. You may find this hard to believe, but way back in 1944, George Stinney was the only black person in the courtroom for his trial, which lasted not all of a day. Just terrible.
Well, you know, to that point, there have been questions for years of whether his original trial was fair. Many have said that he was forced to confess. Can you give us any background behind that?
You know, he was 14 when all of this happened, and his parents weren't even there for questioning or his trial. They actually had to flee Alcolu on the day of his arrest because they were told that a lynch mob was headed to their home to hurt them. So they left. They never saw George again. He also, guys, didn't have an attorney for questioning, which has fueled speculation over the years that this young man confessed, perhaps in an effort to save his family somehow, that perhaps law enforcement made certain threats. But again, pure speculation by some who have followed this case over the years.
It makes my my skin crawl and my stomach upset for his family, and 14 years old. Wow, what an injustice. Yeah. Now, it has been 76 years. So what is the general consensus in that community, that particular small community, are they still split if George did it or not?
Well, apparently they're still split with passion, guys, because right now most of the players who were around when all of this happened have passed on, but they do have family members who have survived, and Stenny's surviving family members to this day, and others in the community continue to believe in his innocence. But the girls' family members, the two victims in this case, they still believe he was guilty. So do others in the community, despite this judge basically saying Stenny did not get a fair trial and he didn't do it.
Wow. JR, we appreciate you bringing this case to light. A lot of people, I don't think, are aware of it, except for that small community. So thank you for the latest on this case. Yeah. And to our viewers, if you want to learn more, visit WLTX.com. You can also listen to the new podcast episode about George called An Execution in South Carolina. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Thank you, JR.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would look at this like, why are you running a story about a 70-year-old case? Your name and your legacy is all you really have in this world. And being exonerated, even posthumously, is important, and especially just the right to a fair trial. And that's why we continue to go back and revisit history, so we make sure that we're not going to repeat it.
Well said. The family did not give up.
That's
they
right.
Absolutely did not. In fact, did you know that there could be as many as 230,000 innocent people behind bars right now as we speak? This Friday, DBL is diving into some of those wrongfully convicted stories with our new series, Freedom Files. Our premiere episode shares the incredible story of Christopher Scott. Christopher was wrongfully convicted of capital murder. You do not want to miss his story. That's this Friday. We'll be right back.
Ladies, what's the
Welcome back to DBL. So a 2-year smartphone sleep study proves that a lack of sleep is linked to weight gain. We're chatting about it in today's Rise and Thrive, sponsored by SoClean. So for years, researchers have studied how sleep influences your BMI by relying on the participants' memory. But a new study used fitness trackers and smartphones, and they found that over a 2-year period, they tracked the sleep of 120,000 people, by the way. But the study found that those with BMIs of 30 or above, which is considered obese, slept less than average at night. So when you're feeling sleep deprived, certain hormones will spike, which does result in increased appetite. So when it comes to sleep, for more ways to rest easy, go to SoClean.com or call 1-800 528-6029. That makes perfect sense. When I'm literally like sleep deprived, all I want to do is shove comfort food in my mouth.
A snack. And definitely don't forget, when you have a higher BMI, you have more weight on your chest, just more fat, and it's harder to breathe. That's where you get snoring. That's where you get sleep apnea.
Whoa,
and you wake
it's
up.
all interconnected.
That's right.
Oh, that's a really important study. Coming up on DBL, a mysterious flying object baffles onlookers. Look at that. Is that a UFO?
I knew you would believe this.
Or is this something much more explainable, Al? Find out next.
Daily Blast Live, sparkle to your life. We're giving away the official Daytime Emmy gift bag filled with luxury products worth more than $5,000. Here's how you can win. Send us a video telling us about your quarantine, how your life has changed, new hobbies, or plans you had to cancel, and what you look forward to the most once the pandemic is over. The winner will be announced Friday, September 25th, and become the owner of the official Daytime Emmy gift bag.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
The bladder.
Welcome back to DBL. Now, before we go, we have to talk about what happened in Jersey on Monday. People thought they saw a UFO. Some even got out of their cars. Watch.
Yo, I don't know, but everybody stopped to see the aliens. It says, that's what everybody said, bro.
I got some bad news for you all believers. Turns out it was just the Goodyear blimp. It was there for Monday night's NFL game. Erica, would you have believed this? Would you have been fooled? Erica.
I just like the commentary on that. Everybody stopped to see the aliens. That's what they said.
I know, right?
Apparently the aliens are sponsored by Goodyear.
Good one, Al. Hey, I have a bone to pick with the viewers. Y'all are comparing my Samantha Harrington doll to Chucky.
First of all, the eye is shut. That's super creepy.
I take great
Erica,
Cobb.
do you see this terrifying doll?
Erica Cobb, hey.
Open its eye. It's so creepy, Sam. Don't poke its eye. Now that's even weirder.
Bye, you guys.
We're talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
A black voter challenges President Trump on his Make America Great Again slogan. Is it tone deaf?
When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America?
We have tremendous African American support.
Plus, Joe Biden gets criticized for his choice of song to rally Latino support. Young, black, and sentenced to death.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young.
It is the shocking story of a 14-year-old boy executed more than 70 years ago in today's True Crime Chronicles. From hospital security guard to earning a PhD in molecular oncology, one man shares his inspirational journey to live out his dream of being a doctor.
I think all it took was a little curiosity for one of them to finally tell me yes.
And gone. In the market for a dinosaur skeleton? Wait until you hear the incredible items hitting the auction block.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, September 16th. I'm Sam here with Al.
Hello, I love the dress. It's literally fire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And we are coordinating almost like if we were to be going to prom together.
Yes,
I like
there
that.
we go. Homecoming.
Color coordinated. Erica, how are you joining us from home?
I am wonderful. You guys look great.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, thank you. You look awesome as usual.
Erica cannot look bad for the life of her, so just saying. Okay, so
Girl, takes one to know one.
Thank you, Edie. I
Sister love.
appreciate that. Did you all watch President Trump's town hall last night? Well, there was a lot of backlash, or back and forth.
And backlash.
Yes, between ABC's George Stephanopoulos and the president about whether he downplayed the coronavirus, which, of course, the president was recorded saying back in February. Watch.
I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. It would go away without the vaccine, George, but it's going to go away a lot faster with it. It would go away without the vaccine? Sure, over a period of time. Sure, with time it goes away. And many deaths. And you'll develop herd, like a herd mentality. It's going to be herd developed, and that's going to happen. That will all happen. But with the vaccine, I think it will go away very quickly.
Okay, so there was another moment from the town hall that a lot of you are talking about. A black pastor from Philadelphia confronted the president about his slogan, "Make America Great Again." Take a listen.
You've coined the phrase, "Make America Great Again." Right. When has America been great for African Americans in the ghetto of America? Are you aware of how tone deaf that comes off to African American community?
Well, I hope there's not a race problem. I can tell you there's none with me. You could just go back 6 or 7 months from now. That was the best single moment in the history of the African American people in this country.
So let's chat about it. Is the slogan, "Make America Great Again," tone deaf when it comes to Americans of color? Al, what do you think?
I think it is, but I think it's not for me. And I think this town hall was great for Trump. And I'll tell you why, Sam, because since the beginning, he understood that he's not going to win over a lot of people that are on the fence. He's for dang sure not going to win over the people that are anti-Trump. So every campaign stop, every press conference is a chance to talk to his base. And what he is saying is, hey, guys, I'm not racist and you're not either. I played this coronavirus well, and you guys all know it. And anybody else that's not on board now, they're not coming anyway. So he did this the way he's always done this. He was prepared for those questions. He pivoted to just like, hey, before the coronavirus, everything was great. He had all these things queued up and ready to go. So I think it was a home run in terms of him for his base, Erica. I don't think anybody else really matters at this point.
Facts, Al, facts. And I think that's where we are at this point. People are speaking to those who are either in the same mindset or people who are on the fence based on maybe single issues. When we're talking about just anytime we have that slogan, "Make America Great," we've been saying this from the beginning. It's very one-sided and it's directed towards a certain group of people. There's just no other way to have that conversation, and I'm glad that question was asked.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know I'm white and I benefit from my privilege, but I can't imagine if I was sitting in either Erica or Al's shoes. I mean, I'm offended for you. To think that, "Make America Great Again," considering our history, and a lot of it is very recent history, when was it ever great for people of color? When was it ever great for the LGBTQ community? But listen, that is just my opinion. We are getting a lot of your comments in right now, and I always want to read them. I always want to bring in the other side. Let me bring in Susie on Twitter. She says, "Don't you realize this is a setup? George Stephanopoulos was a Bill Clinton advisor. He has handled the pandemic good." And then John just chimed in saying he took those questions like a man. Many of the questions were not Trump supporters and rude to the president. So thank you.
Like I said, talking to his base.
Yeah,
he figured it out early. Great strategy.
That's a positive. Okay, so President Trump wasn't the only one receiving criticism. While the president was in Philly for the town hall, Joe Biden was in Florida at a Hispanic Heritage Month event. Well, he's getting a lot of flack for what he did at the podium. Take a look.
There you go. Dance a little bit, Joe. Come on.
I'll tell you what, if I had the talent of any one of these people, I'd be elected president by acclamation.
So one person on Twitter wrote, "I can't tell which pandering was more cringy, Hillary saying she had hot sauce in her purse or Joe playing 10 seconds of Despacito." Another person tweeted, "Thank goodness he decided against the sombrero eye roll emoji." So really quickly though, an important piece of context, Biden was introduced by Louis Fonsi, who wrote Despacito. So put that aside. Do you think this was pandering, or was this him trying to be cool, or was he trying to give homage to the person that just introduced him?
I definitely think that he was trying to give homage, and honestly, I didn't know that that was the person. I think a lot of people that watched this press conference had no idea that he was the person that wrote Despacito, because the people that love Despacito don't necessarily watch presidential candidates speak. If you look, there's 7 billion people that watched that video. I didn't, so I didn't get that context. But if Elton John had brought him up, I think if he had played Rocket Man, everybody would have understood.
Erica, did you feel like it was cringeworthy?
I'm just going to model for something for people who still don't get this. I am not Latina. I am not going to put my 2 cents in as to what was appropriate and pandering for something for that culture, because I don't appreciate it at all when it's done to me.
Got it. All right.
Well, I don't mind.
Okay, so we got to take a moment to reach out to all of our viewers along the Gulf Coast. We are thinking of you guys because there are warnings of heavy rains, more than 30 inches in some areas, as well as historic, even life-threatening flooding as a result of Hurricane Sally. So we just want to wish you guys well. We hope that everyone is going to stay safe. We hope that you guys listen to the local officials. And of course, again, we are going to be sending our thoughts and our prayers. And please check on your neighbors, especially the elderly. You're shaking your head out.
How much can people take, Sam? I think when you read heavy rains, and Eric, I don't know, when I read that, sometimes you think, oh, well, rains, we can handle that. I mean, water damage is much worse than like a tornado, because it seeps into the foundation of things, and things are no longer useful. So long after that water recedes, nothing works in that town. The foundations are all cracked, and everything needs to be redone. So between the rain, the fire, the corona, I mean, how much more unemployment? It's just a lot for this country.
Yeah, I mean, what can we say at this point? I mean, it's us against Mother Nature. I just feel terrible for people. It's like one thing happens, and before you can even get on your feet, there's something else. So obviously, we're thinking about them at this time.
Yeah, and just remember, you know, after the floods in California, quickly after that came after the rain and everything, the mudslides.
Oh.
So let's just see. There's not a lot that you can do to prepare, but at the same time, knowing that the mudslides will most likely follow, there are some preventive measures that you can take. And if you're affected, please write in. We want to hear from you. Erica, stick around. Coming up on DBL, our medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli. She's going to tackle more coronavirus questions, and she's going to clear up your confusion. Then from security guard, you guys, to doctor, you have to meet a Louisiana man who got his PhD in molecular oncology and is now earning not 1, but 2 more degrees. And as DBL enters its 4th year, most of our coworkers, check it out, they're not here, they're working from home because of the pandemic. We miss all of you guys, and we will be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. Even though we're months into the pandemic, there's still so much uncertainty and so much misinformation out there. That's why we hooked you up. We got our own Dr. Paul Coley, who's going to join us to answer all your COVID-19 questions with just the facts, we promise. Earlier, Tori and I got a chance to speak to the doctor. Check it out.
We would love for you to explain the recent news about scientists discovering an antibody that neutralizes the virus that causes COVID-19. So for anyone that's not a Harvard grad and MIT like you, I bow down. What does neutralize mean? Is that like a cure?
So neutralize, Tori, means that it actually prevents the virus from getting into the host cells. So have you guys watched that movie, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's so cute.
Yes. So if the regular antibodies are like the regular heroes, the neutralizing antibodies are like Mr. Incredible. They can neutralize the threat immediately, prevent the virus from getting into the host cells. And it's actually really cool because it's something that we could give patients who've been exposed to the virus to make their illness less severe. So I wouldn't think of it as a cure, so much so as a treatment that's really going to help us recover from the virus more quickly, even if we are exposed.
She's a doctor of pop culture, too.
I love it. All right, let's get to some viewer questions. Jeanette says, my child has severe food allergies. Tell me about it. So should I be concerned about what food proteins might be in a COVID-19 vaccine? That's a great question.
Yeah, it is. And the food allergies are so common. So luckily, the way that the COVID-19 vaccine is being engineered, so far it's not being grown in any egg cells like the flu vaccine, for example. And so food allergies are less of a concern. But depending on which vaccine ends up winning out and how it gets manufactured, this is something we may have to think about once we're at that point. So certainly, Jeanette, keep an eye on how it's being created and when it hits the market.
Wow, which one is going to win out?
Natalie, I like that name, Jeanette.
Jeanette. My friend was Jenny as a Jeanette, and I thought, huh, neat. Doc, Natalie asks, should you wear a mask when going through a drive-through or curbside pickup, or is it okay because you're in your car? I always wear a mask.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, ever since this pandemic started, you guys, all I've been doing is picturing droplets coming at me in slow motion, like in the movies, wherever I go and whoever I see. So when I'm going, yeah, exactly. You got to dodge it, just right. But so whenever I'm going to the drive-thru, I'm sitting in my car and someone is sitting in a position above me and I'm sitting in a dependent position and their droplets are falling right on my face. So personally, I definitely put on the mask when I open the window. I even put on my sunglasses so that if anything falls, I can dodge it like the Matrix.
Oh, that gives me an excuse to wear sunglasses inside.
You love wearing them, and you look good in them out. You wear them well.
All right, last question. Doc James says, I read that Dr. Fauci recommends vitamin C and D for a healthy immune system. Is it better to get those vitamins through food, supplements, or both? I thought vitamin D came from sunshine.
It does come from sunshine, but it also comes from dietary sources, Al, like milk and yogurt and cheese. So I always say, essentially, food is the best medicine. If you can get your vitamins and supplements from food, that's really the best thing to do. But often our diet's not well balanced. If you're like me and you're running around all day, not drinking enough milk, then you can have deficiencies. So I usually tend to encourage supplements for those people who might be at certain higher risk. And personally, I've been taking a vitamin C and vitamin D ever since this pandemic started.
All right. That's what I'm going to be doing then.
Good to know. Yeah, I do whatever she
I go
does.
as she goes.
Thank you, Doc. We'll be back. You'll be back tomorrow. If you do have a question about coronavirus you want answered by Dr. Coley, just write us. It's very simple. Don't be scared on social media. You can also email info@dailyblastlive.com. We don't even have to say your name. We just want to give you an option to get to a medical expert easily. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to DBL. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you this story was very special to me. It's the story of Russell Leday. He's proof that age and experience should not and cannot define your dreams. He was a hard-working security guard at a Louisiana hospital who kept asking for help when everyone said no. Now he's trading in a security uniform for a lab coat at that same hospital. I was lucky enough to catch up with him earlier for today's DBL Spotlight. Dr. Russell Leday, welcome to DBL. You have such an interesting story. Let's get right into it. You were a security guard at Baton Rouge General Med for 5 years, and over the time you started asking if you could shadow doctors. How many of them turned you down, and what did it take for one of them to say yes?
A number of them, said no. At least 20 to 30 of them said no over the course of about a year and a half. And I think all it took was a little curiosity for one of them to finally tell me yes. I was walking this guy who was a surgeon at the time, and I asked him, I was like, man, what do you do? He was like, I'm a surgeon. And I was like, so you think I can shadow you? He looked at me and he was like, man, you know what? Yeah, why not? And that's all it took was one yes.
Well, let's get back to the reason you asked that question. What inspired you to get into the medical field, making such a drastic career change and asking for that first shadowing opportunity?
I asked that question because I was enamored by the white coat walking around the hospital. And I was just curious. I was curious as to, how do you take care of a sick patient? How do you make sure that they make it home when they come into the hospital incredibly ill? And I never really thought it would come to fruition. But I figured it wouldn't hurt for me to dream big.
Well, it hadn't hurt. Look at you now, bro. That white coat is shining. You have a PhD in molecular oncology, and now you're back at that same hospital, but as a medical student. So you have to tell me, and do not be humble now, please. What was that full circle moment like for you? Did you pull up playing Look at Me Now in the parking lot?
Nah, man. I actually pulled up listening to this song by a guy named Gregory Porter called Take Me to That Alley.
Take me to the alley. Take me to the afflicted ones.
And so that kind of reminded me of where I started and how I can't take this moment to have a lot of pride on my chest. I always say that the opportunity to take care of people is a privilege. I went there very thankful and grateful and just humbled by an opportunity to go back where I once dreamed of becoming a physician, to take care of people, and especially the people of Louisiana, because that's where I'm from.
That's inspiring. Now, putting work aside for a second, but this also pertains to your community, you're making changes in your community. You helped organize the photo of 15 black doctors, which I saw and really just floored me, wearing white coats in front of a former slave plantation. These photos went viral. Like I said, I saw them, and millions of other people did too. Can you tell us a little bit more about this photo?
Yeah, man, so that photo was really an opportunity for us to remind ourselves of how far we've come in spite of systems that were put in place to make sure that we never got here. It costs upwards of $5,000 to $10,000 sometimes to apply to medical school. I'm not talking about pay for medical school, I'm talking about just apply. And so we utilize that photo as an opportunity for us to raise some money and help some people apply to medical school, get into medical school, and then get through medical school.
That's awesome, man. You are living proof that anybody can do what they set their mind to, despite all your achievements and success. How do you feel like society perceives you?
I think on a good day, society perceives me as a gentleman. I do think every once in a while there are some bad days in which society perceives me as a threat. But I think we do need to work together so that systems that were put in place so that people like me wouldn't thrive are put to shame and also put away so that people can thrive. And every story is not I came up from the hood story, but a story of triumph and success.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps, brother. Dr. Russell Leday, it's been a pleasure having you on DBL, an honor, actually. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be right back.
To DBL, Erica, working from home. Okay, so I've got comments from DBL Nation, okay? You guys are split down the middle. John says, Trump thinks Joe Biden is president. He blamed Biden for not implementing a national mask mandate. But then Patrick says, facts are he's a great president and he will continue to be a great president for the next 4 years. And finally, Roseanne says, hey, Sam, just wanted to let you know I started watching Anne with an E.
And Erica, I want to let you know, I promised Sam in between the commercial break that I was going to watch at least 2 episodes.
Next week?
Yes, for next week.
I wonder
promise.
if Erica's seen it. Erica, I haven't heard from you. Have you seen Anne with an E?
No.
Will you watch Anne with an E?
No.
Will you watch Anne with an E?
Will I?
Yeah.
I mean, I could put it on the list.
Put it on the list, girl.
How is Erica not in Congress or something? She's so good with her answers. She didn't say no, but that definitely was not a yes.
Put it on the list. Put it on the list means yeah, no. If you were sticking around, here's what's coming up. A UFO sends people into a panic. Was it aliens or something else? And Kim K will tell you what her next mission is. DBL's New Every Day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Al, Erica, joining us from home. Okay, so did you notice that some celebrities are taking a break from social media today? Well, if you did, this is actually their way of protesting hate speech on Facebook and Instagram. So here's what happened. We got stars like Katy Perry, Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio. They are asking people to stay off Facebook and Instagram for 24 hours today. Kim K used the hashtag #StopHateForProfit and blamed the platform for spreading hate and propaganda and also misinformation. So Amy Schumer posted an image of Mark Zuckerberg, and you could look at the image right there. It says, quote, ignoring repeated warnings that Facebook users were organizing to slaughter peaceful protesters is not an operational mistake. It's complicity in murder. So she said that because earlier this month, Zuckerberg admitted Facebook failed to remove a page that encouraged armed Americans to take to the streets in Kenosha, Wisconsin, calling it an operational mistake. Okay, so Erica, how effective, in your opinion, are these campaigns, considering that many of these celebrities help make these platforms millions of dollars?
I love the message. I love the call to action. I don't know how effective it is that it's only lasting 24 hours because, to be honest, the average person isn't utilizing these social platforms in a way that if my favorite celebrity were not to post for 24 hours, I would notice. But we are talking about it, so perhaps there will be a greater call to action after this 24-hour period. But I do believe in exactly what they're saying.
I do too, and you know, I do find it ironic. First of all, I give Kim Kardashian now all the credit for really going all in on this. She's taking this as like her new mission. But her husband is known to spread a lot of misinformation, and then he'll double down on it and not take any sort of accountability. How do you think that must be playing out in her own personal life?
You know, Sam, I'm sure a lot of our viewers look at this story and they're like, I don't care what Kim Kardashian does. I don't care what Amy Schumer does. Let me tell you the problem with information and how it can affect everybody. I was reading about the wildfires in Oregon yesterday just because of how scary they are. And it was said that there was a couple, an older couple in their mid-70s, that had told their kids that they had their bags packed, that they thought that they were going to leave. And then they read something, not saying it was on Facebook, they did not reveal the situation because they don't know, but then they read something that said that the fire was 51% contained and their bodies were found later that day because it was not true. So the fact, we have to be honest that a lot of people get their news from social media, so we need to police it because it is literally life and death. So if you don't care about Kim Kardashian or Amy Schumer or Justin Timberlake, that's fine, but these are people's lives on the line right now.
Well said, well said. A lot of you are also, I'm reading your comments as we speak, talking about this next story. Cardi B has filed for divorce from Offset after 3 years of marriage. So court documents reveal Cardi says the marriage is irretrievably broken and there are no prospects for reconciliation. A source revealed to People magazine that Offset cheated on Cardi B throughout their entire relationship, but she chose to look away because of their daughter Culture. But now she apparently is saying that she's had enough. What do you make of this, Erica? Should someone, in your opinion, stay together for the kids, or do you think that actually sets up a bad example?
I don't have kids, and I'm not judging anybody for their decisions about whether they should stay together or not. When it comes to Cardi B and Offset's marriage, I am not trying to X and O this situation. I do commend anyone who decides to do what is best for their family, regardless of what that decision is. In terms of what she said, subsequently, she says she wants it to be amicable. And I can talk about divorce because an amicable divorce should be the only divorce. Because if you want to be miserable, you might as well have just stayed together.
Wow. That was so well said, Erica. You know, speaking of divorce, and obviously a lot of divorces, there are children involved. I think a lot of people say, I'm going to stay in the marriage because of the kids. But you have to remember, your kids, no matter what age they are looking at you, Erica. They're looking at you, Sam. They're looking at the way that you guys interact. They know when mom and dad are fighting. They know when you guys aren't speaking. They know when you're sleeping in separate bedrooms. They know everything.
What will be the example for affection?
Exactly. And so when they turn a certain age and they start looking for a partner, what character traits are they going to look for in a partner?
Well said.
They want to see, you want to show your kids, even if it's with a second partner, this is how a man treats your mom. This is how your mom treats somebody that she loves. You know, no matter what kind of relationship it is, homosexual or heterosexual. So it's very important to show your kids a healthy relationship, not just trying to remain intact.
I couldn't agree with you more. As hard as it must be for that child too, and you've done it, you've lived it.
My kids are fine.
But
you know, but I'm not saying it didn't affect them. I'm sure it did.
But at the end of the day, to see the example of affection, I think is something that's going to impact them much more later on in their own relationship. So in my opinion, it's actually a selfless gift, so to speak. Okay, so if you guys had $1 million to spare, well, we got some really cool, unique items that we found that are up for auction. So first, you can bid on Stan the T-Rex. What? He's 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, is one of the world's most complete set of T-Rex bones. He's currently on display at Christie's in New York and is expected to fetch between $6 and $8 million. That's unbelievable. Would you ever consider purchasing a T-Rex?
That's not from me, but I'm sure there are some multimillionaires that are big Indiana Jones fans. So if you're a fan of people that look up bones and that era, why not, if you got the money?
Oh, I guess so. Okay, so Erica, this one. Kobe Bryant's autographed section of the Staples Center floor. Kobe signed his number 8 after his final game in 2016. So this one could go as much as $500,000. Wow, Erica. Can you imagine bidding for something like that if you had the money? So personal.
I mean, has got to be the coolest thing. I mean, there's so many things or ways that could be displayed to really just show respect and admiration for Kobe's legacy. So whoever gets that, I mean, that's going to go for some coin.
Oh, yeah. Wow. And finally, you guys, this one is so cool. A plastic crown worn by the Notorious B.I.G. Yup. Well, it just sold nearly $600,000. The late rapper famously wore, of course, that crown. Guess what? It was only $6 when he purchased it. And he wore that crown on a photo shoot, but we've all seen that image repurposed for T-shirts and posters and so much memorabilia. So that one is pretty darn cool.
I always get on our group thread for the viewers. We have a group thread. We always talk. I was at the airport months and months back, and I meant to tell you, because I tried to take a sneak picture, this is how pervasive hip-hop is in our culture. There was an older white woman sitting waiting for a flight that had a cat on it that had that Biggie crown.
Did she know?
She had no idea.
Did you tell her?
Real. No. What am I going to walk up? No, she would have maced me. But I'm saying it's so amazing how pervasive it is that she had that Biggie crown on it, but she just thought she had a cat with a crown.
Yeah, you never know. Sometimes you could be.
Questions, Al. I have questions.
First of all, where do you get it?
How do you know that lady didn't know? How do you know she didn't know?
I'm being ageist. You're right. Who knows? She might have been a fan of Big Papa.
I'm with you. You never know if you're sitting on a pot of gold. I'm going to show you my pot of gold. Al, don't even start grimacing at me. This is.
That looks like a casket for fun.
This is the original 1986. Oh my God.
Why is it leaning?
Stop it. Samantha doll. Yes, the American Girl doll. And what's great about her is, of course, you know, all your kids probably have the recent Samantha Girl doll. I don't know why her eyes are closed. Mine's the original. So, Al, I think this is my pot of gold. One day I may just auction her off.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get very much, Sam, but you know what?
That's not true. Why would you say that?
What do you think that's worth, Sam?
I've looked. Right now it's worth like $2,500. And one day.
Sam.
What?
Sam.
What?
Is that Monopoly money?
No, she's been retired. This is the Samantha Harrington doll.
I think it came retired.
She's a Victorian orphan from 1904. I have her birth certificate.
You didn't even put her hat on.
I know she has a hat. Where is her hat? I have the whole outfit. This isn't the outfit. These are her pajamas.
Oh my goodness, that's disturbing. You know that doll talks when you go to sleep.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it
Anyways,
does.
this is my retirement plan.
Walks around the house.
That's my retirement
Erica, would you pay $2,500 for that? Maybe I'd pay $1,000 for you to shut the case.
We're out of time. We're out of time. Oh no!
Get her feet in.
Okay, okay. I gotta put her
Maybe
back
have walked
carefully.
Through this
we'll be right back.
We did this.
We'll be right back. My poor
Put
Samantha
that
doll.
away.
I said.
In a his and hers world, meet a mom who's raising her child without gender. The reasons behind her controversial parenting style.
There's no such thing as like girls' toys or boys' clothes.
And hip-hop star Ray J is on the show. From divorce drama to new music.
I don't wanna hurt you, but I know I bruised you. I don't wanna lose you.
He'll tell us about it tomorrow on DBL.
One car accident.
Welcome back to DBL. 76 years ago, the execution of a young black teen made history in South Carolina. George Stinney was convicted and tried in a one-day trial. Decades later, his case was overturned, and it's now being used today as a lesson. Here's the latest on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
George Stinney Jr. was a 14-year-old living in Alcoula, South Carolina. He and his family lived in a very small, working-class mill town where white and black neighborhoods were separated by railroad tracks. It was March 1944. Two young girls, 7-year-old Mary Thames and 11-year-old Betty Binnicker, were found dead. Police were tipped off that the girls were seen talking to George and later showed up at his home and arrested him.
There was no real investigation done by the police. It was just assumed that either George Stinney or George Stinney and his brother committed this offense.
What happened next made history.
One of the most shocking things in the George Stinney case is he was tried by a jury of 12 white men. That certainly is not a jury of his peers. That's certainly not a cross-section of Clarendon County at the time, which was half African-American, half white. And here we have an all-white jury with his family not being even allowed into the courtroom.
The trial lasted only 2 hours, and the jury had a 10-minute deliberation. George was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by electric chair. There were 70 years of silence. And then in 2014, George's case came back in the spotlight when his family pushed for a retrial and high school students started researching the case.
And I think for all of us in my class, it was kind of like a starting fire for us to understand more of what we had to do to get justice for anyone and us as well.
It worked. A new trial was granted and the verdict was overturned, citing fundamental constitutional violations of due process.
We don't know whether or not he did it, but that wasn't the issue. It was whether or not his constitutional rights were preserved, and they weren't, and that was clear. And the further I got into it, the more I saw just how obvious and blatant it was that he wasn't afforded his constitutional protections.
George's family hopes his story can be a lesson for today's society as protests rage on for racial equality.
It was a wrongful killing. He was too young. First of all, they didn't give him a chance. Look at stuff that's going on up here now. They didn't give him a chance.
Earlier, Al and I spoke with a reporter in South Carolina to learn more about this case. Take a look. We are joined by News 19 anchor J.R. Berry from Columbia, South Carolina. Thank you for joining us. George's case was overturned in 2014, but his story is still being used today as a lesson. Please let us know about that.
You know, what happened to George Stinney should never, ever happen again in an American courtroom. You know, we have laws on the books right now we didn't have back then ensuring we have equal justice for blacks and whites. You may find this hard to believe, but way back in 1944, George Stinney was the only black person in the courtroom for his trial, which lasted not all of a day. Just terrible.
Well, you know, to that point, there have been questions for years of whether his original trial was fair. Many have said that he was forced to confess. Can you give us any background behind that?
You know, he was 14 when all of this happened, and his parents weren't even there for questioning or his trial. They actually had to flee Alcoula on the day of his arrest because they were told that a lynch mob was headed to their home to hurt them. So they left. They never saw George again. He also, guys, didn't have an attorney for questioning, which has fueled speculation over the years that this young man confessed, perhaps in an effort to save his family somehow, that perhaps law enforcement made certain threats. But again, pure speculation by some who have followed this case over the years.
It makes my my skin crawl and my stomach upset for his family, and 14 years old. Wow, what an injustice. Yeah. Now, it has been 76 years. So what is the general consensus in that community, that particular small community. Are they still split if George did it or not?
Well, apparently they're still split with passion, guys, because right now most of the players who were around when all of this happened have passed on, but they do have family members who have survived, and Stenny's surviving family members to this day, and others in the community continue to believe in his innocence. But the girls' family members, the two victims in this case, they still believe he was guilty. So do others in the community, despite this judge basically saying Stenny did not get a fair trial and he didn't do it.
Wow. JR, we appreciate you bringing this case to light. A lot of people, I don't think, are aware of it, except for that small community. So thank you for the latest on this case. Yeah. And to our viewers, if you want to learn more, visit WLTX.com. You can also listen to the new podcast episode about George called An Execution in South Carolina. Just search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Thank you, JR.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would look at this like, why are you running a story about a 70-year-old case? Your name and your legacy is all you really have in this world. And being exonerated, even posthumously, is important, and especially just the right to a fair trial. And that's why we continue to go back and revisit history, so we make sure that we're not going to repeat it.
Well said. And the family did not give up.
That's
they
right.
Absolutely did not. In fact, did you know that there could be as many as 230,000 innocent people behind bars right now as we speak? This Friday, DBL is diving into some of those wrongfully convicted stories with our new series, Freedom Files. Our premiere episode shares the incredible story of Christopher Scott. Christopher was wrongfully convicted of capital murder. You do not want to miss his story. That's this Friday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. So a 2-year smartphone sleep study proves that a lack of sleep is linked to weight gain. We're chatting about it in today's Rise and Thrive, sponsored by SoClean. So for years, researchers have studied how sleep influences your BMI by relying on the participants' memory. But a new study used fitness trackers and smartphones, and they found that over a 2-year period, they tracked the sleep of 120,000 people, by the way. But the study found that those with BMIs of 30 or above, which is considered obese, slept less than average at night. So when you're feeling sleep deprived, certain hormones will spike, which does result in increased appetite. So when it comes to sleep, for more ways to rest easy, go to SoClean.com or call 1-800 528-6029. That makes perfect sense. When I'm literally like sleep deprived, all I want to do is shove comfort food in my mouth.
A snack. And definitely don't forget, when you have a higher BMI, you have more weight on your chest, just more fat, and it's harder to breathe. That's where you get snoring. That's where you get sleep apnea.
Whoa,
and you wake up.
It's all interconnected.
That's right.
Oh, that's a really important study. Coming up on DBL, a mysterious flying object baffles onlookers. Look at that. Is that a UFO?
I knew you would believe this.
Or is it something much more explainable, Al? Find out next.
Daily Blast Live is to add sparkle to your life. We're giving away the official Daytime Emmy gift bag filled with luxury products worth more than $5,000. Here's how you can win. Send us a video telling us about your quarantine, how your life has changed, new hobbies, or plans you had to cancel, and what you look forward to the most once the pandemic is over. The winner will be announced Friday, September 25th, and become the owner of the official Daytime Emmy gift bag.
Promotional consideration.
Welcome back to DBL. Now, before we go, we have to talk about what happened in Jersey on Monday. People thought they saw a UFO. Some even got out of their cars. Watch.
Yo, I don't know, but everybody stopped to see the aliens. It says, that's what everybody said, bro.
I got some bad news for you all believers. Turns out it was just the Goodyear blimp. It was there for Monday night's NFL game. Erica, would you have believed this? Would you have been fooled? Erica.
I just like the commentary on that. Everybody stopped to see the aliens. That's what they said.
I know, right?
Apparently the aliens are sponsored by Goodyear.
Good one, Al. Hey, I have a bone to pick with the viewers. Y'all are comparing my Samantha Harrington doll to Chucky.
First of all, the eye is shut. That's super creepy.
I take great
Erica,
Cobb.
do you see this terrifying doll?
Erica Cobb, hey.
Open its eye. It's so creepy, Sam. Don't poke its eye. Now that's even weirder.
Bye, you guys.